Together, they are the Bostonian versus the Book.
You covered! You covered 12! I covered!
Follow the show on Twitter at Boston versus the Book.
How do you like them apples?
Bringing you the best insight on sports betting news, Matt and Dave's daily picks, and an entertaining and unfiltered dive into the sports betting industry. Here's Dave Sharapan and Matt Perrault.
And here we go.
What's up, beautiful people? How are you, Brigade? It is time for another episode of the wow, I almost said the Daily Juice.
Gotta get your shit together. Get it together.
Versus the Book. Dave Sharapan, Matt
You're already
Perrault.
glitching. Snap your fingers. Come on, let's go.
Already glitching?
Let's
I
go.
don't have anything open. There's nothing open where I'm me. That's wild. I'm already glitching.
God.
I'm already glitching. We got a lot to get to. Joe Sheehan's coming on talking baseball
Yep.
in about 10 minutes. So
Yep.
we got to cram some stuff in before we talk to Joe about what's going on the Diamonds. We've got a update on the very cool hat giveaway in just 1 second. You
Yep.
guys can get yourself a Wagerwire/BVB customized hat. But first and foremost, how are you, sir? Welcome to Thursday.
Good. Last day of the Pittsburgh Penguin season for the first time in almost 2 decades. They're not going to be in the playoffs. But just like the Steelers beat the Browns every year, what Pennsylvania does to Ohio, you besmirch cities every day, blow them up, leave them to smithereens.
True.
Pittsburgh beats Ohio, whether it's Cleveland, Cincinnati, not so much Cincinnati lately in the football, but you want to pick early. Penguins in regulation. It's minus
Over-
117
Over Columbus? Ooh,
over Columbus.
going out on a limb there.
Minus 117 value is value.
When,
all right?
when do we call you a parallelogram and a rhombus for that
sharp.
pick? For that
Listen,
pick,
pick the Rays every day. You want to talk
True.
about a sharp play?
right?
12-0. We'll ask
Well,
Sheehan about that.
they're playing right now, so we'll see if they get to 13, then tie the record. So you got
games on right now.
yeah. Red Sox already went deep.
Where's my remote? Damn it, I don't have
Yeah,
my remote.
Red Sox Rays are playing right now. It's 1-1, bottom 2. So
Really?
we can watch that. 13-0 is the record. 14-0 or to tie the record. 14-0 would set the record, but the Rays win today. It'll tie two teams. I think it's an 87 Brewers and like 82 somebody else who went 13-0. We asked Joe who exactly that is. I
I
forget. who it is.
guarantee Joe knows. You
Yes.
just going 82 this.
No,
that,
it's two
whatever,
teams.
that's
I know it's
perfect.
two teams. One is the Brewers. I
Hey,
think the 87 Brewers, I think, is one of them. And there's another team as well that I can't fully remember the other side, which other team it is. But they should beat the Red Sox
Braves.
today because
The
Red Sox
Braves.
are Braves.
it was the Braves.
82 Braves.
I believe so.
Okay, so I got the ballpark it right.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
All right, before we get to a couple quick topics and then Joe coming on the program, first and foremost, you guys have taken advantage of this and it's fun to see. I'm psyched to see it. If you go to bvbshow.com, that's our Discord channel. Direct
Right.
link, bvbshow.com. Free Discord channel. Come on in, be a part of it.
Yeah.
There is a sub channel on that called the Wagerwire Ticket Channel.
Sub-
There, we want you guys to post questions you have for futures. The boys at Wagerwire are in there.
Yeah.
They're answering questions in real time, which is very
Excellent.
cool, which is very neat. So they're going through their calculator. They're showing you how to use their stuff. But tomorrow is the Wagerwire market report. We'll take one person's ticket and discuss what to do with that ticket on the show. If you are the one selected, you will be one of, well, for April, there probably will be 3 of you who will be then drawn randomly, and you will win a BVB Wagerwire custom hat that we will make for you and send to you
Oh,
just for going in there and posting a ticket. So
damn.
easy to enter, be a part of the fun. You may get something really cool and a collectible on top of that. So we're doing that every month. End of the month, we'll pull one name. We'll get in touch with you guys, and then we will tell you, what colors you can have and what the designs are going to be and all the fun stuff. So
Right.
Wagerwire giveaway with BVB, hat giveaway coming up. Post a ticket, but you got to join the Discord
So-
channel in order to do that.
You got the doctor in there answering the questions, and
I'm not
Travis
sure
there
who's in
answering
there.
the
It might-
questions. It's pretty impressive.
I'm going to say it might be Matt, but they're under the Wagerwire moniker.
Okay. All
So
right.
it
That's
could be
fine.
all of them. I don't
All
know
right, that's
who
great.
is operating the Wagerwire account on
All
Discord,
right.
but there is a Wagerwire person who is in their channel on our Discord
Nice.
answering questions in real time with people. And we've seen a lot of really cool people have posted. Chef Benny was in there yesterday. Mikey Awesome was in there yesterday. So appreciate you guys going ahead and posting that and firing that thing up on the Discord channel,
Excellent.
which is a lot of fun. So that's cool. Tomorrow we will have our first nominee on the show. All right. Dogs go 4-0, 3 wins straight up in the NBA play-in tournament. Bulls and OKC both win outright on the road last night.
Damn right they did.
What do you make of that? I took the Bulls +5. You took OKC. We both came in and cashed that last night. What do you make of Friday? Did we learn anything? Does it flip to the home teams and the favorites on Friday?
Oh, there'll be a lot of people that will be in the content space that will give you this, that will give you that. Did you watch the games? I mean, like,
Yeah,
what
I watched
did
them
you
both.
see? It was pretty obvious to me. I mean,
Well, the Bulls were sloppy in the first half.
terrible.
And then they
But-
finally, Zach LaVine, I thought in order for the Bulls to win the game, I thought Zach LaVine would have to be the best player on the floor. And in the second half, he was the best player on the floor.
Yeah.
He was really good.
But you know what? Toronto missed, I think they shot less than 50%
From the foul line. Mhm.
from the free throw line.
Yeah, left a lot of points on the foul line. Yeah.
I mean, the you make 60%, you win that game and almost cover. The Bulls win may have been a little
Fortuitous?
fugazi. Little
Fortuitous?
fugazi, maybe.
A little. I mean, that's the game, though. I mean, you can't.
You know.
Who knows how it would have went if they'd hit those free throws or how the Bulls would have played? Would they have fouled as much? I mean, who knows? I mean,
Yeah.
we had Pascal Siakam was on the foul line after getting fouled on a 3-point shot, which was a horrific call by the referees. That was not a continuation call, but they gave it to him, and he missed 2 of 3. Could have tied the game with 11 seconds to go.
Listen, that's the OKC hat, but this
Is the Elmer Fudd hat?
this is Alex Caruso.
Yes, it is.
Alex Caruso looked
played
right
well.
there.
Yep,
You
you played
saw
well.
I mean, I've been having a lot of people come at me and say, "Are you related to Caruso?" I like the Bulls.
Yeah.
Can they cover?
Tomorrow, I don't know. Yeah, I think Miami wants to go play golf, so it's possible.
Why they golf? Those guys golf.
I mean, I just think they're done. I think looking at Miami. I mean, this is the Kyle Lowry versus DeMar DeRozan game. This is kind of wacko.
The Kyle Lowry versus DeMar DeRozan game.
Yeah, this is 2 teammates playing against each other on opposite teams on different teams playing for elimination.
don't even
Both.
know who
I mean,
came up with that.
there's some heat
Like,
to
you
that
think-
game.
You think so?
Yeah, there's some heat to the game. Sure, there's a little heat to it.
There's only heat in the game is the Miami Heat. What are you
Maybe.
talking about?
I don't think Miami really.
You sound like an NBA playing tournament hype guy right now. What the hell
No,
are you talking about?
I think that there's some intrigue with the game, but Miami having a home game, I think, is a detriment because there's no energy in the building. This is like an NIT game on campus. Like nobody wants to be in the play and nobody wants to be in the NIT, so no one's going to show up.
That's the best thing you've said yet. That was
Okay,
excellent.
so
That's an NIT game on campus that nobody wants to go to. Ain't gonna be nobody there.
no, on a Friday night in Miami, like, come on, people are gonna be
Ain't
like,
no
please.
real home court.
No, they lost. They're in this game because they lost it. Like it's not like they won their way into this game; they lost their way into this game.
Yeah,
So it's
I don't
not.
know.
It's not good. I mean, they lost to the Hawks at home, which is yikes. And now the Bulls could go there and win. And I think most fans would be like, you know what? Just lose. I'm done. I'm good. Let's go watch golf. I don't need to watch the Heat anymore. I'm set.
Yeah. Listen, the Bulls can win the game.
Mhm.
I'm surprised the line's going up.
Mm-hmm.
4.5, maybe. And again, just because, like, okay, I'd love to know how they got to the number. I mean, maybe this is right. I think this is coming down by game time.
Yeah,
I think you should.
we got tomorrow to break it down, but
Yeah,
it's just
yeah,
it's just a
yeah.
trend to be aware of that 4-0 for the underdogs. and 3-1 straight up. So heading into the games tomorrow,
Right.
be aware of what's going on with the NBA. We have a ton with hockey. This is the last full day of the
Yes.
regular season. There are so many interesting playoff scenarios
Yes.
as to how teams are going to approach this game that they're playing today and tonight.
Yeah.
As to, do they want to win? Do they want to lose? Do they want to win the division? Is it better to be the wild card team? How do you avoid playing the Bruins? All those things that we will get to coming up on the other side of our conversation with Joe. But before we get to Joe, you brought this up yesterday, and I thought it was interesting. The Phillies players are now talking about the extension of the beer sales.
What are they saying?
They're not in favor of it. They
And
believe
why?
they're putting fans at risk. For doing
the
this.
Players said this?
Yes, Matt Strom of the Phillies said he
Good for him.
disagrees with teams extending this.
Yeah.
He said the reason why we stopped selling alcohol in the 7th before was to give your fans time to sober up and drive home safe, correct? So now, with a fast-paced game and me just being a man of common sense, if the game is going to finish quicker, would we not move sales back to the 6th inning to
Right.
give our fans time to sober up and drive home? Instead, we're going to the 8th inning, and now you're putting our fans and our family at risk driving home with people who have just drank beers 22 minutes ago.
Right. Makes a lot of sense, right?
It's interesting to hear him come out and say that publicly.
What do you mean? It's
He's-
interesting. What the fuck
He's
does that
right.
mean?
I
What are
mean,
you talking about?
because he's in
He's
direct.
right.
He's right, but he's going in direct. I mean, one of the biggest marketing dollar spends in all of sports are the beer companies to baseball. I mean, this is going to
Okay.
the beer. So if you're coming out,
So-
the reason why teams are doing this is because the beer companies are starting to look at the bottom line sales, and everyone else looking at the sales, and they're like, we're not selling as much beer as we used to. We got bottom lines. We got projections to meet. We're going to
Right.
go ahead and do this. And now players coming out and pointing out the obvious or pointing out the elephant in the room and saying, hey, guys, shouldn't we be going the other way? Shouldn't we move it to the
like
6th
you
inning?
like to say, like the quiet part out loud. He's saying
Yes.
the quiet part out loud. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he's right.
He's right. He's 100% right. But I'm very curious to see how many teams, what the response is going to be from teams when that question gets asked. Say, hey, it's not just fans or people bringing this up. You got players who are asking, what are we doing? Why are we selling into the 8th inning? Shouldn't you go the other way? Shouldn't you close it earlier?
Yeah.
Not later. Not later.
I mean, if you were really trying to make sure that people weren't getting boozed up before they drive cars home, yeah, you would think so. But they're worried about marketing dollars and selling beer. So different strokes, different folks.
Well,
sure.
until someone kills somebody on the way home.
God forbid. But
And then different
and somebody-
conversation.
different conversation.
Then we're
Yeah.
having a whole new, if you could sue the team for being liable for
Right.
overpouring. I mean, you can sue bars that
Hmm.
overserve.
Right.
If a team is overserving a guy who's drunk into the 8th inning and he didn't have time to sober up,
Right.
I always thought that's why. I mean, safety is one thing. I always thought they stopped selling beer in the 7th inning for liability.
Oh,
know, they were nervous about being sued for overpouring.
yeah. Who knows?
Asking some college kid whether they know if someone's drunk or not, when they're giving them 2 beers in the 7th inning. So not always the best way. So let's talk about baseball. The Rays are in action right now with the Red Sox. Got a bunch of other things to get into, injury to the Pirates and whatnot. Let's get to our friend Joe Sheehan coming on, talking a little Major League Baseball with us here on the BVB.
Joe's ready to go.
I think this is Joe's second appearance with us.
Yeah, Joe's
On
been on it.
BVB?
Hey, Joe Sheehan, look at this guy.
What's going on, fellas?
Oh,
Oh.
boy. Joe sounds a
that-
little bit rough. Check Joe's test again.
I am having trouble getting the software to recognize I'm using the AirPods.
All right.
Take the AirPods out.
Probably.
It's
You
the
sound like
AirPods,
you're
yeah.
Max Headroom.
Yeah.
It might be.
Test
If that's
that
all
one.
that it is. That's great. If it's just going to be the AirPods, that would be
Yeah.
phenomenal.
How about now?
Well, let him go through his computer. You got to
Okay, now
disconnect.
the MacBook speakers. That's not any better.
Oh, it sounds way better.
So, Joe, you sound like Pavarotti a little bit. You sound like unbelievably
Hang on
good.
a second. We're not done yet. This is for Matt.
Oh.
Oh, that's it. Get ready to do the show. That a boy, Sheehan. Coming
Oh.
in hot, Joe. I like it. Listen.
Oh.
before we get to the actual baseball stuff, I saw your tweet and sparked a conversation. We put it in the rundown today talking about the beer sales. I don't know if you were able to hear our discussion, but you kind of mentioned to me you got a little pushback. You got a take on this thing with the beer sales and then pushing it back to the 8th inning at all?
Yeah, I'm with Matt Strom, and I'm really surprised to hear a player come out and talk about this. But the original idea, and I want to say this started in the 1980s, of these cutoffs was at a time when drunk driving was a really big issue in society. Now, I got to be honest with you guys. I don't know. I don't track how big an issue it is today. But we've had these cutoffs, not just to keep fans in the stands sober, but to make sure that when they get to the parking lot, get behind the wheel of their car, they've had some time between their last drink and driving to actually make things a little bit safer. Now, I think Strom brings up a great point. Moving the beer sales forward an inning seems to me like it would increase the chance of fans being impaired when they get behind the wheel of the car. If you hold it steady, as Matt pointed out, you're really actually, because the last couple of innings are playing out more quickly, you're making it more likely. The logical thing would be to push it back an inning. I don't think teams are going to do that. Now, they studied this in the minor leagues last year. Baseball America had a good report. Apparently, concession sales weren't that affected in the minors by the pitch clock. But I guess teams are seeing early on in the season now that they are selling less beer, and they're trying to make sure they get a few more sales. But guys, as somebody who doesn't drive and doesn't drink a ton of beer, maybe I'm not the guy to talk about this, but it really feels to me like if you're selling beer in the 8th inning, and let's say for the sake of argument, the team goes down 1-2-3 in the 9th and the game's over. You're talking about a guy literally leaving, walking to the exit with half a beer in his hand.
Yeah.
I don't really think that helps, the person who's not at the ball game who's just trying to get home on the highway, who's now got to contend with this guy driving.
Right.
Again, I will admit here that I'm a little bit out of my depth in terms of the science and in terms of the studying of traffic and driving. I want to make that clear. But just on a baseline feel, it seems to me that this increases the risk of fans leaving the ballpark impaired.
You don't even drive, Joe, do you? Yeah. So you're a terrible.
But
person
it's
to
logic,
drive.
though. I mean,
I have opinions on all kinds of things I can't actually do. Don't worry about it.
But it's just a logic, and I'm with you on that point. I do it every day. But the funny thing about the conversation is that logic is going to win out here, and business is going in the face of logic. Like business is going opposite. What do you think the pushback internally is going to be? Like, wait a minute, we need to make sure we're making X number of dollars, and if it puts our fans at risk, so be it.
I was pretty surprised by how many people were either didn't care or were actually supporting this idea online. I had a couple of tweets about it on Monday, Tuesday night, I think it was. And there were a lot of people just like, it's fine. A lot of people made jokes about it's Milwaukee. They can handle their drink. But I fear that this is only going to get reversed when something tragic happens.
Right.
The motivation for this in the 1980s wasn't so much that MLB teams wanted to be good corporate or good social citizens. It was pressure from outside groups. This was when Mothers Against Drunk Driving,
right,
putting pressure on teams to say, hey, look, you got to cut off beer sales so that fewer people will leave the park drunk. Now, one of the other things teams do is they limit you to how many beers you can get. I guess it's 2 per person.
Right.
You can basically walk up to a concession counter and walk away with a case. They don't let you do that. That was in the 80s. Things were different then. But yeah, they've limited that so that fans aren't getting that drunk in the park. When I heard Strom had an objection, I thought it was going to be because he thought it would increase offensive fan behavior because there would be more drunk in the park. He's actually looking at the actual point, which is more about when they leave the park. So I think this conversation is going to continue. But Matt, I fear that this is only going to get reversed when something truly bad happens.
Right.
Agreed. I'm with you there. That stinks.
I was going to ask you about, the drinking is one thing and unruly fan behavior is another. Joe, do you buy into this bullshit argument that fans are more unruly now because of the gambling and that, all the prop betting and like baseball fans have been saying nasty stuff to baseball players for 100 years. You went to games at Yankee Stadium for a long time. You've been to parks all over the country. We sat together the last time you were here and went to a game in Las Vegas. That was actually a pretty mild night. But is this how I don't agree with the gambling being the cause of more of stuff. Do you think there's more to that argument?
I think there's a lack of grasp of the history of the game. If you go back to the 90s, 1890s, 1900s, 1910s, ballparks were rowdy places. People throwing actual glass bottles at the players, coming out of the stands to fight them. And there was no way to bet the over 1.5 total bases on Tris Speaker in 1915.
Thank God.
And one of the things and this gets into a lot of this, again, it's not just sports. We see and hear a lot of, I can curse on this show, right?
You can say whatever you want, Joseph.
We hear and see a lot more assholes because of social media, Twitter, Instagram, what have you. So when somebody is mad because, somebody didn't hit their strikeout prop, or they didn't cover the 1.5, or some college kid missed a free throw, there's a venue for them to express that to all of us in a way there wasn't for most of the last 125 years. So no, with a lot of these things, I don't think it's social media, and I don't think it's gambling in terms of baseball. I think it's just people are this way, and we see it more because we have more access to their opinions. For the most part, this company now, aside, most people's opinions aren't worth hearing.
Well, that's a fair point on that. So there's a correlation here between hockey and baseball that I want to make for 1 second. So the Boston Bruins they've got everybody telling me and every Bruins fan that the President's Cup, they set the record, most points, most wins. You're not winning the cup because of this. The Rays right now are playing the Red Sox. It's 1-1 in the third inning. If they win the game, they start 13-0. They tie the record for the best start in the last 80 years in Major League Baseball at 13-0. The answer everyone is saying whenever you're like, man, their run differential is 65 right now. They have more home runs hit than runs given up. And all I hear back is, yeah, they'll choke in October. Does it matter? Does the start matter to you at all for the Rays?
Well, historically, the start hasn't mattered. If you look at the 6 longest winning streaks in baseball history to start a season, just one of those teams won a championship. But if you look at long winning streaks throughout history, it doesn't really matter as much. The longest winning streak in baseball history was by a 4th place team back in 1916. Dave probably remembers that. I think that one of the things we've lost in baseball is the appreciation of a great regular season performance. The recent Dodgers teams being the best example of that. You go to the NBA. Did people remember that the Warriors went 73-9, or do they remember that they lost their last game? We've lost the ability to appreciate the regular season. So there's no correlation. The fact that the Bruins ran away with the President's Cup doesn't make them more or less likely to win the Stanley Cup.
Preach on, Joseph. Thank you.
If the Rays are 105-57, look, they're still going to have to play a best-of-5 series in October. And when you put 2 good teams in a best-of-5, especially in baseball, there's just not that much difference between them. So I think that we need to come to the idea that we need to be able to appreciate regular season performance the way we did for most of sports history, and then recognize the tournament for what it is.
Joe, I mean, talking about regular season performance, I got one of my dear friends. He's a Yankee fan. His name's Sean. He's watching the show right now.
Sorry, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, the Yankee fans, I mean, Joe looks so good in that Yankee hat. I mean, really, it's amazing what the Yankees have done in the regular season and their inability to close a deal and win a World Series. It's been one of those things, but the regular season right now is being greatly affected by these rule changes. Is it not? Or are we, by being in our vacuum, in our world of, doing content and stuff, are we seeing things that aren't there? Or what are you seeing, at least immediately, as far as the game being affected by these rule changes?
Well, the games are certainly being played faster. We've chopped 29 minutes, I think, off an average 9-inning game. The pitch clock has had that effect. Stolen bases are up because defenses are hamstrung as to how they can defend against the steal. Pitchers can no longer vary their timing very much. They can't throw over 4 or 5 times. There's also a big clock on the field that tells the base runner, hey, the pitcher's got to do something here pretty soon. I think all those factors are going into the increased steal rate and the success rate. And then finally, the shift ban has largely affected line drive singles to right field. Infielders can still align themselves where they think ground balls are going to go for the most part, but there's no longer that player in short right field, that rover spot. So you've seen left-handed line drive hitters, their average on line drives has gone up. So yes, there have been some changes in the game. The biggest factor so far this year, at least early on, was that we were using a more lively ball than we were last year. We can track this stuff. You look at not just the way the ball performs, the drag on the ball. We can actually calculate that. But you look at things like home runs per fly ball, home runs per contact, the slugging average on contact. All of those numbers were up. So all of these things have risen in the first couple of weeks, and they're kind of all getting conflated. We've made so many changes at once. It's going to be hard to isolate the impact of any.
Interesting. So this juiced ball theory was put into place a couple of years ago. We started doing some research on it. We saw Major League Baseball changing the ball halfway into the season, then during the postseason. So do you think they're going to change it back? Because we've seen guys like Alex Cora say, hey, wait a minute, I've never seen the ball fly out of Fenway Park like this. And the numbers backed it up for what the Red Sox did in early April. We were seeing way more home runs than normal early in the season. Does baseball do what they did before, but in reverse, and put a dead ball this summer in play?
I guess there are two questions here. One is the ball different? And it certainly early on appears to be on the higher range of how well it flies. The work of Bradford William Davis and Dr. Meredith Wills has shown that baseball used 3 different balls last year.
Joe, don't they have to tell people that they're
Nope.
using 3 different balls during the season?
Here's the thing. Here's the question. Do we, and this is where my biases come into play. Do we think baseball is bright enough, competent enough to actually control this? Or
Yes.
is it that they just have no control of what baseball is being used in a given year? And I have to tell you guys, I tend to lean towards the latter.
Are
think
you
they don't have much
serious?
process. I truly believe that the baseball varies from year to year, not out of intent, but out of just kind of a lack of control over the process.
So wait, so Joe, so let's just play this out. So we have Aaron Judge going for a record-setting home run chase. The last time we saw a home run chase like this, everybody stopped. ESPN did what we saw with Bonds, or not Bonds, but with McGuire and Sosa with the dual screens. People were pissed off. They were breaking into basketball coverage, breaking into everything to show Aaron Judge's at-bats on national TV. And you're telling me baseball had nothing to do with the ball being juiced in August and September?
What's interesting, some of the research that was done last year showed that Aaron Judge, and I want to again credit Bradford William Davis of Insider for looking into this, showed that the balls in the Yankee games were on the high end of tolerability, if you will. And actually, look, and I want to make this clear here. Aaron Judge has nothing to do with this. Aaron Judge isn't going into the freezer, David Stern style, and picking out the cold baseballs. He's nothing to do with him. But it does seem like in Yankee games last year that there were livelier balls in play.
Just happened to be the guy chasing the record. It just happened to be
That's
that way.
unbelievable. I mean, like, I don't know that's.
Baseball's always had this problem. You go back to I'm old enough to remember 1987. You guys probably are too. Where ball 86 was a decent hitter's year, but the 87 the balls flat until the 90s. 87 had the highest rate of home runs ever. It was this crazy year, and then for the next 5 years,
Was that the year that
Dale Sway, everybody you've never heard of hit 30 home runs.
Wally Joyner hit almost 40.
Joyner.
What was that guy that played left field for the Orioles? Brady?
More than 10 in a year.
What was his name? Brady? The guy that
No, Brady Anderson was in the 90s.
No, that was in the 90s. The Orioles with Brady Anderson.
He had an unbelievable
That was
year.
95, I believe.
They used the hot balls then, that's for sure.
Well, no, he used the hot needle. Different situation. That's what
Whatever
he
was using, it was working because the ball was flying out off his bat. I remember him being very valuable in fantasy.
Yes.
Joe, can we use these fancy balls that fly out over anywhere in Pittsburgh? Because the Pirates have started out with a winning record. It's only April 13th. But, Joe, give me some hope. Give me some dreams. Give me some reality check if I need it. But are the Pirates going to win 66.5 games or more? Please
Any
tell me
particular
yes.
reason you're picking that number? I can't imagine why.
That was what their season win total closed, and somebody might have some action on it. I'm just curious what you think about the Buccos because O'Neal Cruz doesn't know how to slide.
That's a really painful, no pun intended, but it's a painful injury for your 66.5. They don't have a great backup option. We'll see. Gosh, I don't even know his guy. G1 Bay might get some time there. I'm not even sure they're going to go with, but we'll see. It's supposed to be about 4 months, so maybe he comes back at the end of the year. Maybe they decide they don't want to risk it with him. But there are a lot of reasons to be happy. Mitch Keller, he's building on what he did last year. Look, Brian Reynolds looks like he might stay there now, and he's off to a fantastic start. Brian Hayes, one of the best defensive third basemen in the game. They're slowly building a core. Now, whether they get to 67 wins this year, obviously Cruz hurts them. If David Bednar is having a good year, do you trade him? How many of these guys are actually going to be here at the end of the year? Remember, The Pirates don't care if they win 67 games. This is one of the problems with betting the over on some of these bad teams. I ran into this last year with the Rays, where they were well on pace to hit their number, and they didn't seem to try to win a lot of games at the end of the year so they could play the Guardians in the playoffs. With bad teams at the end of the year, they don't want to win. So you're betting kind of against what they're trying to do. So I think you might run into that with this Pirates team, where the wins don't matter to them as much as they matter to you at the end of the year.
That division stinks, does it not?
It does. But they're playing fewer games in division too. So there's less of an effect there.
Absolutely. So on this show, I tend to be the Angels basher because I can't stand that two generational players are on a roster that is not really built to win. And we may have to suffer through, seeing Ohtani and Trout never play in a real meaningful game. They played in the World Baseball Classic against each other, and that was the first time we actually saw real pressure-packed, meaningful baseball between the two guys. They're in first place starting today. It's very early. They're 7-5. What do you make of the Angels, their rotation, and can they be relevant this summer?
Yeah, I was on them this year. I've got them winning, I think, 91 games and winning one of those wild card spots. And you mentioned the rotation. That's the key for me. They finally developed largely a homegrown rotation with Patrick Sandoval, who I love. Jose Suarez got knocked around a couple nights ago. Reed Detmers, who threw a no-hitter and then got demoted last year. He looks like he's ready to be established. They've got guys behind Ohtani now to fill things out. Their rotation last year in the second half was very strong. They also went out. And, when you start with Trout and Ohtani, and I get your frustration, Matt, it's been frustrating seeing Mike Trout play 3 playoff games during what is one of the great careers in baseball history. But they finally put players around them that are just average. That's all you have to do is put an average team around these guys. So that's Gio Urshela. That's Hunter Renfroe. That's Brandon Drury. None of these guys individually are going to move the needle, but they mean that instead of having replacement level talent at those spots, you've got average talent. And an average team around those two guys will win 91 games. So I'm excited for them this year. The other thing, too, is we've never seen Trout and Ohtani really at the peak of their powers. These last 2 years when Ohtani's been great, Trout's been hurt. I want to say 140 games last year, 100 games last year, and like 40 the year before.
Yeah.
They're both playing 150 games. You're talking about two guys that could combine for, 18 wins among replacement. Just ridiculous numbers. So the keys are, can those two guys stay healthy? And, can that rotation, which is a bunch of left-handers behind Ohtani, do what I think it's going to do? I think they're going to make the playoffs this year. And I'm usually with you, Matt. I'm usually predicting them not to.
Joe, we're out on the West Coast, and we've had this discussion, and, nobody sees Ohtani play. Half the United States is asleep and all these other things. That's one thing that contributes to that. But, I'm wearing a Dodger hat. There's some great baseball being played late night East Coast between Dodgers, Padres, Diamondbacks. What are you thinking NL West? Just a round overview, what you've seen so far, and maybe who you think might win the division for the people that might partake in that type of interest from a knowledgeable person like yourself.
I thought the Dodgers, a lot of people were running off the Dodgers at the start of the year, kind of forgetting how high a level that they'd established. For the last 3 years, they won 2/3 of their games. They won 111 games last year. They could be 15 games worse and still win this division. And obviously, no Walker Buehler. They're paying Trevor Bauer to pitch in Japan. The injuries, Gavin Lux hurt them. Terry Turner left for Philadelphia. But when you look at what that team can do in terms of bringing up its own talent, James Outman has showed out these first couple of weeks. Miguel Vargas. You look at all of the young pitchers they're going to be bringing forward. I have the Dodgers winning that division by a couple games over the Padres. We're not going to know what this looks like for another week. I believe it's actually next Thursday. Fernando Tatis Jr. comes off of his suspension, and we see the Padres are at full Death Star. And I think that's going to be – Padres are kind of like, without Musgrove, without Tatis, kind of faking their way through the first couple of weeks here. We're going to see what they look like when they get Tatis and Musgrove back in Tatis next week and Musgrove in a couple of weeks.
A similar question, but to the AL. The Rangers look like they might have something with DeGrom at the top of the rotation. They've spent money on defense. They've got the offense, obviously. Can the Rangers challenge the Astros in the West?
I don't think so, because they're going to have a lot of trouble getting guys on base. A problem that got worse this week when Corey Seager went on the IL.
Right.
He's going to be 4 to 6 weeks. It's just a thin lineup. They do hit for some power. Adolis Garcia, Josh Young, Marcus Semien. But by and large, it's going to be very hard for them to get enough runners on base to keep the line moving and have a productive offense. I don't love the back of that rotation. And while, Jose Leclerc, Will Smith, these guys have all had success. By and large, that's not a very strong bullpen. So this is a Rangers team that could still lose some games late. They were terrible in close games last year. That's what actually got Chris Woodward fired. Now that tends to be a luck thing from year to year. So they're going to get some bounce back. But I look at this bullpen as the year goes on. I think it's going to get worn down. And again, we're counting on DeGrom staying healthy. If you tell me DeGrom makes 32 starts, they're in the wild card race. If you tell me DeGrom makes 32 starts, though, I'm probably going to start looking for the end of the world.
I'll bet under on DeGrom starts at 32 for sure. All right.
No action.
No action.
Yeah.
Last one for me, Joseph. First of all, before you answer the question, make sure you tell everybody where to find you, find your newsletter. If you guys like baseball, 100%, you should subscribe to Joe's newsletter because he do a great job. You sit in the dungeon there, although you're letting light in, and it looks great, Joe. I mean, it's really nice. But all you do is sit there and write and read and watch games. It's amazing stuff. A great way to spend your summer. But, Joe,
I appreciate it.
You're welcome. And we'll, again, don't forget to tell them before I ask you this question. I got to listen to this guy all year talk about the Bruins winning the Stanley Cup, the Celtics winning the NBA championship. It's Bostonian versus the book. We took it on a whim, and we did it. And now the whole world is centered around Boston. Boston versus the world. It's annoying as shit, Joe. But the one good thing that we have working, Joe, is this absolute disaster of a baseball team called the Red Sox this season, Joe. Can you please just tell the people watching that the Red Sox are hopefully going to finish dead last in the American League East? Yes or no?
Yeah, probably fourth. We'll see how these injuries.
Who's worse?
Yoshida's hurt. The Orioles are running back last year's team, which is fine, but they had flaws on last year's team. They didn't build out the pitching staff the way they should have this winter. They didn't spend any money. So I think the Orioles coming into the season look worse than the Red Sox. We haven't seen much out of Sale and Kluber yet, though. The question has always been, would those two guys stay healthy and make 30 starts? The question I didn't think to ask was, are they any good anymore?
Right.
They both got around pretty good so far.
Right.
So I had them going 83 and 79. I thought the offense would carry them. I thought they'd win a lot of games like they did that first series against the Orioles. But you look at the bottom of that lineup now. They threw out a lineup yesterday that looked like something out of Sarasota split squad. Yu Chang and Hunter Wong. I mean, I keep looking to see if maybe, I don't know, some of these guys from my youth are going to be. Is Tony Armas going to play for them next?
Wow. Yeah, it's fair.
It looks rough. And I think it's going to be interesting because, Chaim Bloom inherited this. He didn't sign Chris Sale. He inherited Chris Sale.
Right.
He didn't screw up the farm system. Dave Dombrowski traded away everything in the farm system. I think he's taking a lot of blame. Also, too, John Henry decided, I don't want to spend as much money anymore.
Right.
So you have a weak farm system. You have this killer contract, $30 million a year, about 15% of their payroll going to Chris Sale. And when you have a farm system, with an owner who doesn't want to spend money anymore, that's a really tough situation. John Henry, I think, wants to be the Rays, or at least a somewhat more expensive version of the Rays. But by letting Dombrowski build a championship team, he took away from that plan. I hope he gives Chaim Bloom enough time to rebuild that farm system.
The fans are not going to give Chaim Bloom enough time to rebuild the farm system. That's the problem, is that the fans are getting frustrated by the way the team is spending, by the lack thereof, and also just the big contracts that they've not spent. Xander Bogaerts going to San Diego and knocking the cover off the ball does not help Chaim Bloom. It helped the Red Sox as Mookie Betts went to the Dodgers, won a championship. Bogaerts is now playing really, really well. Those are guys that normally Red Sox fans would see as a lifer in a Red Sox uniform, and it's not happening. So that's part of the problem with the Red Sox with Chaim Bloom, is that, well, yeah, the fans have gone 5 years without a championship, but where is the future? Agreed. I know you're a Yankee fan. You understand that, though. But could the Red Sox...
He's turning them into Pittsburgh. He's turning the Red Sox into Pittsburgh. An owner that don't want to spend. Don't keep your best players. Let them leave when they get really good. Sounds a lot like the Pirates.
Is there any way in your mind that the Red Sox could find a way to get Yoshi's good friend from Team Japan to come over when we see Ohtani as a free agent in the offseason?
that would require a significant change in John Henry's approach over the last couple of years. We haven't seen Henry write the big checks for $500 million players. There's a pretty comfortable assumption that the Dodgers have been doing all of the things they've been doing or not doing with an eye towards signing Ohtani. Steve Cohen is always going to be lurking. We're talking about a player who may be the first $500 million player in baseball. And I guess
The Mets?
I guess he'd be the first because
Yeah.
Pat Mahomes is really going to make $500 million on that contract. So Ohtani would be the first player guaranteed $500 million. But yeah, Cohen doesn't seem to care about the luxury tax thresholds, the penalties. He seems perfectly willing to go out and pay that kind of money. So I think with those two big monsters out there, it really is going to come down to setting aside whether Ohtani wants to play in Boston, in Fenway, with Oshida, any of that. Is Henry going to play at that level for that type of player? And, Ohtani, he knows he's going to get paid. The other question is, where do I want to go to win? And it's very hard for any team to compete with what the Dodgers have built in Chavez Ravine, which is we win every year. If you want to win.
Damn it. What happened to Joe? He froze. All right.
He's
Joe,
back.
tell him. JoeSheehan.com. Tell him where else, please, before we get you out of here.
At Joe_Sheehan on Twitter. I try to be on there less, but yeah, the newsletter is the main thing. JoeSheehan.com. I posted a couple of free pieces this week. You can check that out. I love the game, love writing about the game. I've been fortunate to do it now for 25 years. So please check it out. JoeSheehan.com.
Phenomenal stuff, Joe. Thank you for the time. Really appreciate you coming on.
That's it, brother.
Fellas.
That is Joe Sheehan joining us here on the Bostonian versus the Book, breaking down Major League Baseball with us. He's right about the Mets and the Dodgers.
Oh, man. If you got to pick one, where do you want Ohtani to go?
Mets.
See, I'd rather be him out in L.A.
I don't want him on the West Coast. I told you that. I want him on the East Coast. I don't want him out here. Get him on the East Coast. Get him in front of everybody. Get him in front of the biggest populated people, all the big cities. Get him under the spotlight. Make him into a global superstar. Make him into just the guy, the face of baseball.
Do that in L.A.?
No.
For the Dodgers?
No. You're in L.A. Sorry.
Wow.
It's the West Coast. It doesn't work. It just doesn't. It's just Barry Bonds had to be, a god to get the attention of the East Coast consistently.
Yeah, there was other things going on, though. Damn it.
I mean,
I think Ohtani would look amazing in black and gold.
In a Pittsburgh uniform?
Oh, my God. Be in the Mid-Atlantic region?
It
would be amazing.
And have all AA players around him?
What are you talking about? We got all these young kids. You heard Joe. Put around some average guys. Let's go. We're going to the moon. Oh.
That's the likelihood of Ohtani going to Pittsburgh is about as likely as you going to the moon. Yes, that's a good statement. Yes, that's actually accurate.
Trying to get in touch with Elon about some other things. I mean, I'll see if we can send me to the moon too.
Go ahead. Yeah. SpaceX. Go on the trip.
Maybe they'll sponsor the show.
I heard it's fun.
Son of a. Hey.
Not happening. All right. Tonight is an unbelievably fun night to watch hockey.
It is.
If you are not a hockey fan, we're going to highlight some games that have playoff implications, huge playoff implications that you can sit and watch. If you either got ESPN, what do they call it? The Power Play, PP, whatever they call it, on ESPN Plus, or maybe locally, you'll have it on TV for you to watch it. Let's start with New Jersey and Carolina. That's a 7:00 Eastern time start for both teams.
Yep.
The Metro Division is up for grabs. Carolina, 51-21 and 9. New Jersey, 51-22 and 8. That overtime has given the 1-point lead for Carolina here over New Jersey.
Yep.
Is it crazy that one game in overtime is separating these two teams after 81 games played?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Now, New Jersey is at home, taking on Washington. Oh, no, sorry, they're on the road. Sorry, they're on the road to Washington.
New Jersey is at Washington.
Sorry, on the road, yeah. Jersey's on the road at Washington. Carolina's on the road at Florida. Okay, so remember that here in just 1 second. So Jersey is at Washington. Carolina is at Florida.
Yes.
That's for the Metro.
Yes.
For the Central Division, Colorado and Dallas.
This is the other conference now. You're switching.
Yeah, we're going to go through all the games that matter in the order they're being played, and then we'll go back and break the games down themselves.
Okay.
Setting up, we're going to set.
I would rather break the games down right we just saw it.
No, because I want to lay it out because it matters because they go in order. Then we'll go back and break the games down because they're different conversations.
Right, but the Western Conference has no bearing on the Eastern Conference. Don't confuse the people.
But the games are being played at 7, 8, 10:30. They're different times. We can go through them in order. So you lay out what's going on, and then we'll break the games down after the fact.
Complete disagreement in the layout of this, but that's fine.
Central Division is up for grabs, which is crazy. Dallas, Colorado, Minnesota. Dallas, 81 games played. Colorado, 80 games played. That's important, okay? They play tomorrow. They have 2 games left.
So that says 106, 105, and 102.
Correct.
So Minnesota can't get one of those 1 or 2 spots.
Correct. It doesn't matter, though. If you're in the 2 and the 3 is interchangeable. It's just home ice. It's the only difference.
Well, I understand, but so Minnesota's not affected by this scenario. It's Dallas and Colorado. We got to be
only
about.
Yes.
Okay.
So Colorado plays at 8 p.m. Eastern. Dallas plays at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Yep.
Colorado's game, we'll get to in a second.
Yep.
Dallas's game is against St. Louis. They beat St. Louis last night. They're turning around, playing a back-to-back.
Yep.
Same 2 teams, different city this time. Dallas is at home. They were on the road last time. So Colorado, this division won't be determined unless Dallas. Well, no, it can't be determined tonight because the game against Colorado is going to matter. The game tomorrow will matter for Colorado.
Okay.
So the most points Dallas can wind up with is 108. Colorado can wind up with 109.
Yeah, but they could also, if they don't win tonight, could end up with 107, and the game tomorrow means squadouche.
Correct.
If Dallas wins and they don't get, they don't keep
A
pace,
point.
toast.
Right.
Bye-bye, done.
They
But
get beat.
Colorado has more wins, so they actually own the tiebreaker. So all they have to do is tie.
And they're taking on the Winnipeg Jets, who have clinched a playoff spot already.
Right.
And they can't really change their seed as to who they're going to face in the postseason.
Correct.
That takes us to the final interesting matchup, which is, well, actually, it's 2. Sorry, one more. Florida plays Carolina. Carolina has a chance to, we talked about them in their division, but Florida also can avoid playing the Boston Bruins because the Islanders are done. They've played 82 games.
Correct.
They have 93 points.
Yes.
Florida's got 92 points. Florida, tonight's their last game against Carolina. If the year ends like this, Florida plays Boston.
Yeah, that's
if
good.
Florida wins.
So then we're going to have to get a Florida Panthers.
So if Florida wins today, they avoid playing Boston, and the Islanders will play. Now, here's the question that I have yet to have be answered. What if this game goes to overtime and they lose and they get 1 point and they have 93 points and we're tied? If they have literally identical records,
42, 31, and 9, 42, 31, and 9.
They have identical records.
What's the next tiebreaker in the NHL?
Do not
regular
know.
season wins normally.
Correct.
They have the same number of that.
I don't know what the answer to that is. Who gets what?
Well, what the hell do we do with that? Let's see. 36. Everything would be tied that I know of. I don't know how deep we got to go.
My guess would be common opponents or your record in the Eastern Conference.
In the division?
I mean, they're not in the same division, so you couldn't do that with the wild card. It would be Eastern Conference record.
We'd have to check. Somebody in the chat watching the show, contribute to the show. See if you can find out what is the next tiebreaker after regular season wins in the NHL. That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know if it's ever gone that deep.
Right. For a wild card, it's crazy. And then finally, Vegas and Edmonton for the Pacific.
Yeah.
Edmonton is minus 500 tonight in their game. Vegas is at Seattle. Vegas just beat Seattle 2 nights ago in Vegas, and now they're back in Seattle to end the year coming up here tonight. The Kraken have already clinched. It doesn't matter for them. So we have 109 points for Vegas, 107 points for Edmonton. Here's the issue. If Vegas loses tonight and Edmonton wins, we have the same scenario, Dave. Look at this. The identical records, 50, 22, and 9.
50, 22, and 9. Regular season wins would be different, though.
Why?
Edmonton has way more regular season wins. See the RW column?
Regular, you mean wins in regulation?
Yeah. That's regular. Regulation wins. That's the first tiebreaker. So as soon as you get that, you win.
Okay, so
And
Edmonton would
then
be,
the next thing after that, Otto came in and said it. And you guys know Chris Otto at PSU
Yeah.
Auto. If you're already not following him, you should be following him for the hockey information as well as for his outstanding pictures, both refereeing and coaching kids. OT wins is the next tiebreaker.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
that whole thing could be decided by the number of OT wins, which I've been saying for years. You should be going for an OT and not allowing it to get to a shootout as much as you possibly can. But, you get so at risk of getting that point, not getting that point. You can't play that overtime conservative. It's going to decide a damn playoff spot.
By the way, someone in the chat is getting upset that I'm talking about Ohtani playing with Yoshi. It's a very large talking point. I mean, it's not
happening.
You can't say that. You can't say that.
He's not going to Boston. No way.
People were saying it all the time about A-Rod.
No, just
A-Rod's
said
never
it.
going to Boston. A-Rod's never going to Boston.
never
A-Rod was going
was.
to Boston. Yes, he was.
No, that was
Yes.
that was a leverage move to get the Yankees to pay. He ain't
Not
going.
according to A-Rod, it's not. And A-Rod's been on the record for years on this.
A-Rod's truth sayer? You
Yes.
believe anything
Sure.
that comes out of his mouth?
Why wouldn't he just say I was playing the Yankees to get more money?
He's
It makes it
full
look
of
smarter.
shit more than anybody on television,
Nah.
sports, and ever. You think he was really going to Boston? Boston would have eaten him alive.
Oh, that's true. I didn't want him. I'm not saying it, but I'm saying the Red Sox.
There
Everyone's
was
saying no. There's no
chance
way.
he was going. They just needed another bidder.
I disagree with that.
to get him
I
to
disagree
go
with
to
that.
get
I
the
don't think that's
Yankees.
true. I think that's wrong. I think they were 100%, and then it got
There
voided
is
because
they would
Okay.
have died.
I'm glad the Red Sox won the World Series the next year. That was fine. It would have been horrific if they got A-Rod, but they went ahead and won it in 04.
God, it would have
So
been
would have
terrible.
changed everything. It was great. I'm glad he went to the Yankees. He cursed them, so it was beautiful. But I think it's a little short-sighted to say that the Red Sox are not going to spend, and there's no way that Ohtani would go to Boston. I think it's just wrong. I mean, they spent
See
on
what your
Daisuke.
guy's doing up there. He's turning them in. I'm telling you, Joe said it pretty good. He laid it out. He got a better shot of going to Pittsburgh than he does Boston.
That's wrong. And it's completely, that's not even close to being accurate. But the Red Sox are going to make a huge move next year. There's no debate. They're going to spend. John Henry knows this. He just has to do other things. Right now, he has other focuses. Liverpool's been a big problem for him. He's got to figure that out. You got to get that thing solved first. Then he's got your Penguins, and there's a mess with the Penguins. Got to figure them out. Okay.
Purge.
He owns a ton of things. He owns too many sports franchises that have big ticket items. And the Red Sox have got to figure out the Chris Sale contract and get out from underneath that and whatnot. But Boston's never going to, they won a championship 5 years ago. And Joe's right. That gives you, he's won 4. So he's got a long, he'll do the whole Bill Belichick, like, look what I've done, guys. But that won't fly for more than a couple of more years for the Red Sox. And Ohtani, they will need to be players in the Ohtani sweepstakes. The Red Sox will need to make a move for Ohtani. 100%.
Guys in the chat, if you're watching the show right now, thank you again. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Put in there your team that you think you would want to see Ohtani go play for if payroll wasn't an issue. If you could pick a team for Shohei Ohtani to go play for
Seattle.
your team or baseball,
Seattle.
that's the answer, right?
That's the answer. Yeah, that's the answer.
Would be
Seattle.
awesome.
Yeah, that's Seattle. 100% would be Seattle. Yep, I agree. But again, I want him on the East Coast, so it flies in the face of my opinion there. That's why I think the Mets would be a pretty nice spot. I just can't stand it. He just can't go to the Yankees.
That's East Coast. That would be awesome.
Can't go to the Yankees. That's the Midwest. But I need him on the actual East Coast. I need him actually on the East
Back to the
Coast.
hockey.
The real East Coast. Okay, so let's get to the games.
Yes.
Well, hold on. But before we do that,
Braves. Braves.
the last game
Braves.
for Columbus is tonight.
It is. Penguins, baby. Regulation win.
Do you
Minus
think the
115.
Penguins could blow this?
Oh, come on. I mean, seriously, have you not stomped on me enough?
It doesn't matter to you. This is not you. This is Columbus. Okay,
They're not going to win if they blow this pick.
Columbus has one game. They're up by 1 point. They cannot even go to overtime. They go to overtime, they get 1 point. It could blow the whole fucking thing because I don't know how it would be 58, 58, and 58 points. I don't know what the tiebreaker is for the worst record in hockey to get the one ping pong ball slot. 25% chance of getting the number one pick in the
Versus
upcoming draft
12.5%.
versus 12.5%. It just craters to 2. It drops a ton, 13 percentage points basically down. And it's a huge difference. You can still win it with the 2, but it's very unlikely. 1 in 4 versus, 1 in 10. It's a big damn difference. They can't go to overtime. Could the Penguins fuck this up this badly and actually lose to the Columbus Blue Jackets?
This is crazy to think about. Like, what are you doing when you're driving to the rink today? Boy, I really hope we lose. Or are you one of the
Yes.
guys on the team that are like, man, they ain't offered me another contract after this. Now I'm out the door. Fuck these guys. I'm going to go win this game. I'm going to go
Yeah.
get a hat trick
We're
myself.
gonna-
Like, on the same line, you
Right.
may have that. Hey,
Uh-huh.
man, I'm going to pass you the puck. Fuck that. I got a 3-year contract. I want that
Right.
Bedard kid coming here. We'll get
Right.
better. I want to play with him.
Right.
This is the weird part of professional sports where you're like, what the hell is going on? And then you got the gambling aspect of it. How do you bet on this game? What do you make the line? Oh, the Penguins got to, I mean,
They're huge favorites.
you go back and look. The Penguins haven't lost to Columbus this year. They swept them last year. They swept them the year before. I went back and looked because I did a
Yeah.
video that's going to run on a Penguin pregame today.
Oh, nice.
So I had to go back and look. They're 36-13 since
Wow.
like the last 10 years against Columbus. Crosby scored a goal like in 9 of the last 10. The first period's gone over every time in the last 9. Like the Penguins just own them like the Steelers owned the Browns for years. Okay? Talked about it at the beginning of the show.
Yep.
Pittsburgh beats Cleveland. Pittsburgh beat Columbus in hockey. They're going to win. If Columbus wins this game,
I just want it for chaos because it doesn't matter for Pittsburgh. It has
No.
absolutely no impact on the Penguins at all. It has everything to do with if Connor Bedard becomes Connor McDavid and he's, scoring 160 points and he's playing for somebody else, not the Blue Jackets. And
Right.
every Blue Jacket fan was like, we could have had Connor Bedard and we beat the Penguins on the last day of the regular season. Even you tie in the last game and you go to
Rainmaker
overtime.
just came in the chat and said, Lovey Smith him. This is a Lovey Smith thing, right?
100%. This is exactly what it would be. Yep. This is a Lovey Smith game without a doubt. Yep. Oh, wow. 3-1 Boston. That win streak might be over. Well, Red Sox might get them on the getaway day game. But watch that bullpen for the Red Sox though. I don't know. I think it's going to be, I'm watching this game simply for that reason. I just want to see if there's any possible way the Penguins could punt the game and Columbus can get the game into overtime. Just lose it in overtime. I mean, you can lose the game if you're Columbus. Losing in overtime, you get a point. And it changes the whole conversation.
I'm just trying to think about being a player. I mean, it was hard enough to watch the Penguins lose to the Blackhawks at home. I got Marty, who's working with me with the Bet Rivers people and stuff in AT&T Sportsnet in Pittsburgh, who went to the game, and I was texting him, and he said, nobody can breathe. It was the third period. I said, what's it like in there? He said, nobody's breathing. So it's just it's so tense in here. And I'm like, it's the Blackhawks. Tell everybody to cheer. Stand up. Let's go.
Right.
And they lost. So then they had to go back out and take pictures with the jerseys and do all the fan appreciation stuff.
That is such a strange thing. You keep on referencing that. I can't believe Pittsburgh still does that.
Oh, it's unreal. Every guy takes the jersey off their back and somebody
It's an
from the
awesome
crowd
thing, but
comes
it's a
out
very small
and they
market
take a
thing.
picture.
Yes,
and,
it's a very small market
give
thing.
them
It's very cool, but it's a very small market thing.
Well, they do it, and they did it. They had to do it after that game. Go in the
Well-
locker room. Hey, guys, so, the season's done.
Mhm.
We blew it. Oh, by the way, go back out there and, take a picture.
Smile.
So that was hard enough. Now they get on a flight to Columbus, and they're going to go play the Blue Jackets. I don't know the motivation.
There's none. There's literally none. But the Columbus Blue Jackets have motivation to lose. Like, what happens like the GM walks into the locker room pregame in Columbus? Hey guys, how are you? just to remind them, just to
It
get in their
says
head
what?
a little bit.
Like the
No,
like
nothing.
the
Just,
woman,
hey, guys,
like the owner from Major League.
Yeah.
Hey,
Just your presence being there, meaning like, you fucked this up. You're not here next year. Just
none of
FYI.
you.
None of you. I cut you all on the spot. You want a job next year? You want to play in the league? You're borderline as is if you're playing for this team with a negative 120 goal differential. Just FYI, we suck and we know you suck. So cutting you won't be a problem. Don't be a hero.
And is that weird? That's a weird dynamic. That's another thing to watch. So go ahead. Let's go over these games. Let's now that
So
I'm
let's start it with
confused with that,
Jersey, which is minus 188 on the money line or plus 125 on the puck
New
line here.
Jersey minus let's call it 175. You got 188 last night. It's coming down to minus 175 or as low as 170
What's the puck line?
in places at Washington. Why in the hell is Washington playing? Come on.
They're not.
I mean, seriously, this got to be Devils. Minus 1.5 plus 135 now.
That's what I got last night.
Okay, so it didn't move the puck line.
That's what I got last night.
Money line play coming down.
The stat is this: the Devils on the puck line are 24-16. That's a plus 7.5 unit profit. The Washington Capitals at home are 17-23 on the puck line, down.
Snap your fingers. Unbelievable. Look
Two,
at that
check.
face. Snap your fingers. That face was amazing. Mikey Awesome actually takes
He does.
guys take clips and put those in there. Your frozen
He
faces.
puts screenshots on there, yeah.
He
in,
rolls
the,
frozen
in,
faces.
the Discord
That's
channel. It's
great.
pretty good.
Picking
So
music for me and frozen.
It's the
faces
same
for me.
bet. It's the same bet as last night. We're at home.
Listen, that Dallas bet last night was money. I
Okay.
don't
And
know
it's
who
the
this
same
is.
stat. It's the same stat where you have a team at home on the puck line down double-digit units versus a team on the road that's very profitable on the road on the puck line. Devils,
Okay.
for most of the year, the Devils were the best team in hockey on the road, and they need this game tonight with just to give themselves the chance if Florida does what Florida is capable of doing, which is beating this team in Carolina. Let's go to that game. They're a dog. The Carolina Hurricanes need this game, and they're a dog
And
to the Panthers.
It's not much longer. Literally, it's moving right now.
That's a
across the
mistake.
world.
Alex Lyons in net. It's a mistake. I think the betting on Carolina is a mistake tonight. Alex Lyons been very good in net.
Minus 110 now, both sides.
Oh,
Minus
how about that?
105 at one place.
Alex Lyon has in 5 games has given up 7 goals. He's got a 2.32 goals against average at home. People are betting this like they think it's going to be Bobrovsky in net for the Florida Panthers. It's not Bobrovsky. This kid's good. Alex Lyon's going to play in the playoffs for Florida. I expect he to be the starting goaltender for this team. He's been very good. He's been playing every game for them over the last 5 games.
Well, they're betting Carolina right now.
I mean, look, Ranta is very good, obviously. Okay. He's phenomenal, but I bet under in this game, under 6.5 for Carolina, Florida.
Yeah, that's actually under 6.5, minus 125, minus 130 at circa. But it's 6 in a lot of other places.
Good.
6 with overjuiced. So
the East Coast went to 6 pretty quickly.
Yeah,
Out west, we've seen it go slower.
6.5, yeah.
So
I'm leaving at 6.5.
I like Ranta's got 2.38 goals against average on the road, and you got this Alex Lyon kid who's been playing really, really well for Florida. This is going to be a playoff game. Florida just played a game that they had to have. It was a 2-1 game with Alex Lyon in net.
Yeah,
So,
somebody, if Otto's available and watching, or SoCal, or somebody confirm the goalies if they can for this.
No, Lions confirmed.
Oh,
I wouldn't have bet it. Lions confirmed. I waited till this morning. It's confirmed.
Oh, okay.
He's in. So we believe it's Toronto. We're not positive who, but it doesn't matter. Both goaltenders are good for the Hurricanes, for the under, for that. The Avs are laying 225 against the Jets. The total is 6.5, which is rare for a Winnipeg Jets game to see 6.5. And it looks like it's going to be Hellebuck in net.
Did you seriously saw 225 last night?
No, it's this morning. Where is it now?
290.
Woo, baby.
300.
Wow.
This is Colorado.
So maybe it's not Hellebuck.
Colorado or Colorado?
I say Colorado.
Colorado.
It's like Nevada.
Colorado.
And
I don't
Nevada.
know. Yeah, Colorado. I don't know which way to say it, but I know you can do this. Avalanche
to win. Yeah. Money line. I don't play a money line bet. That's because they need it.
They're winning.
I mean, they need it.
Stop with the needing it. They're just better. They're going to win that game. Winnipeg punt. Let's get in the playoffs and get ready for the playoff run, whatever they're doing. They're not going there with that purpose of winning one that doesn't matter. I don't
Right, but they could influence who plays them, though. I mean, they could
Winnipeg?
have. I mean, technically, we talked about this last night. The Golden Knights have 109 points. Edmonton has 107 points.
Yeah.
Colorado has 2 games left. Okay.
Yeah,
So
Winnipeg
if they win
has
tonight,
one.
right? So, but Winnipeg's locked in. Seattle, Winnipeg is locked in.
Right,
It's
that's what I mean. So
1-2.
Winnipeg doesn't matter.
But they
that's
can
why you gotta
influence who they play,
Colorado.
though. Hold on. They can influence who they play because if they were to beat Colorado, the most points that the Avs can have is 109. That's the most. That would tie them with Vegas. So Vegas would need to lose tonight, and then Colorado would win the next 2 games, and they would be the 1 seed. Then Colorado would play Winnipeg. So if the Jets win this game, they can prevent that from even being a possibility that they won't see Colorado in the first round. They'll play Vegas. I think the Jets would rather play Vegas than Colorado.
Again, the players that there's not a person in that locker room thinking about that. That might be somebody up above saying, "Oh, I hope we play them and that." Players are to just show me,
go win
tell
the
me
game.
what time
If they
to
win,
get to the bus.
if they
and
win the
get-
game, that happens. They influence Colorado not being their opponent, so they can just go do what they want to do, which is win. They're 7-3 over their last 10 games. The Jets are playing really well.
Yeah,
And it's a good message. It's a huge confidence builder if you beat the Cup defending champs on the last day of the regular season before you go play the playoffs.
I'll be interested to see if there are some healthy scratches for that game.
Well, it might be
the game
Hellebuck.
doesn't mean a thing.
It might be Hellebuck. I mean, you scratch Hellebuck and it changes everything.
Wait, he's not even confirmed for the goalie tonight?
He was not confirmed last night. No, he was likely. That line
What
move
the hell?
tells
Did
me.
Otto just came in and said it's Rittich for?
Yep. See? Yeah, that makes sense. For the Jets? Yeah.
Well, there's
That's
the
why
line
it-
move.
that's why
That
it went,
explains the
yeah.
line move. Yeah,
That's why it spiked. Yes, that makes sense. That line move tells me that Hellebuck was not playing. So that would make sense that Hellebuck's out for that. Next game, Dallas and St. Louis. We just saw it last night. Dallas laying 250. Puck line, right?
What the hell? Yeah, like what? I mean, there's.
I got plus 110 last night.
It's
Wasn't it?
minus 310 right
What's the
now.
puck line?
Minus 300. Holy crap!
What's the puck line?
The puck line on Dallas is minus 1.5, minus 110,
20 cents of CLV value there.
minus 115
I got
at
plus one-
Westgate.
I got
minus
plus 110.
105 at Circa. So you
Yeah.
got plus money. That's good because that plus money is gone. Bye-bye.
I got plus 110 last night on
Yeah,
that.
there ain't no more of that.
Well, because the Stars, it's just a rinse and repeat type of thing. I mean, Stars are at home. The Blues are playing their last game. Stars need it. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't care who
playoff
played
drinks, see you
Biddington or the kid they played last night that got
Right.
lit up, gave up 5 goals.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, Stars are going to be rocking. That building's going to be rocking tonight. That's going to be a fun game to watch from a Stars perspective. Chance for them to put themselves in the right position for them to at least get to 108 points and make the Avs win both games to pass them. Most likely,
Over?
Dallas is going to play Minnesota. I can see the over. Yeah. It's probably going to be Ottinger. Last night it was Wedgwood, and he played pretty well, but most likely it's going to be Ottinger. So that makes me a little concerned about the over because I don't know if he gives up 2 goals.
Mikey, awesome. Posted your face in the Discord. What's the Discord channel again? for the people?
BVBshow.com
BVBshow.com. That's great. All right.
on that. And then, so we have Edmonton minus 500 against San Jose.
I mean, come on. The Penguins just lost as a 550 favorite, closing $6 in some places. Oh, come on. I mean, there's
Edmonton,
no
I
way
mean,
Edmonton
this is, if they lose, the Knights clinch.
They ain't
So it's
losing.
all- I agree.
Edmonton not losing to the Sharks
I
today.
agree. It's already minus 2.5. You can't even touch the puck line.
Oh,
The
fuck.
books are just like, you aren't betting puck line on this game. We're making
You
like
are,
2.5.
you're laying 2.5. That's all. Yeah.
And they
there's a-
juiced it to the over.
7 is the total.
Phew.
Is that high enough? Probably not, right?
I don't know. I mean, I need
7
the Sharks to
under
score.
minus 125.
I need the Sharks to score. I mean, 6-1,
Edmonton team total over.
probably.
Let's do
Probably.
that.
Edmonton
That's
team
the
total.
play.
Let's see. What is that number? It's still 6.5 at FanDuel. So Edmonton team
What's the
total
juice on 6.5, sir.
minus 152 to the over.
Just move the damn number to 6.
Team total is 4.5, juice to the over, minus 118. Because yeah, they can score
Ah.
5. They could score
Oh.
5, didn't they? Yeah. 5-1. We'll avoid the 5-1 bad beat, 6.5 loss, or 7 loss.
5-2.
5-2 gets you there. 5-1's a beat. 5-2 is a win. Okay. Vegas and Seattle. Vegas just beat the Kraken. You like Vegas tonight?
I just like the Kraken hat.
Oh, that's like because you can have Grubauer. all you. Vegas needs it to win the Pacific, and they want it.
Wow. 2 places just now. I'm not even kidding. Every place in the world just moved.
2?
What was the number?
-128.
On who?
Vegas.
Seattle's a favorite.
Who? What? It flipped?
-110, -110. Well, it's pick 'em. -110, -105. Yes.
You can have it.
Yeah, they
What is Seattle play? What is Seattle playing for? Tell me. Vegas has to have it.
Just stop with the have to have it. That doesn't get you.
They do.
wins all the
It
time.
matters
The
it
Penguins
matters
had to have it -550, and it didn't work.
Yeah, because they were at home and old and slow. The Vegas Golden Knights are not at home and they're not old and they're not slow. So this is Jack Eichel and a chance to win the Pacific and get the #1 seed overall and play Winnipeg in the playoffs. There's a ton going on here. Seattle just got smoked at Vegas. That's the only logic. They want to get one back in case they play each other in the playoffs, which I'm not sure if that's even possible with the bracket, but
Playing net.
for who? Vegas?
Mhm.
Brossois.
He's confirmed today?
He was likely last night.
I don't want that likely stuff. I want to see quick or
No.
confirmed.
It is let's see. Unconfirmed for sorry, that's wrong. Different game. Brossois confirmed. Grubauer confirmed. Enjoy it. You can have Grubauer.
If
I'm taking
Seattle
Brossois.
wins and the Kings lose, Seattle passes the Kings.
And so, okay, that's true. And we
So
think the
that's
Kings are. So we think the Kings are losing tonight.
The Kings are playing at Anaheim.
Yeah,
Boy, oh
We
boy,
think
would that
that-
be something.
we
That's
think the
going on
Kings
at
are losing
same
to the
time.
to
You
the
didn't
Ducks.
even talk about that time of that game or anything.
Well, because the only thing that matters in that game really is to me is that the Ducks have 58 points and the Jackets have 57 points. If the Ducks win that game, and then imagine if the Blue Jackets lose and you lose Connor Bedard because you beat the Kings on the last day of the regular season.
What
Ducks
if?
aren't winning tonight.
What
Ducks
if?
are not winning tonight. They're not winning tonight.
Can
No.
you imagine if the Blue Jackets Lovey Smith them and win,
Yeah. And the Ducks lose.
and they know the Ducks know?
Okay, they would. By the time the game starts, they would. Yeah.
What do you tell the team? Go out and fall
And
down.
lose. Yes, and fall down. Yes.
Leave your
allow every
skateboards
yes.
on.
Yeah, have the goalie sit with his hand on the crossbar and go right ahead.
Right.
It's all you. There you
I
go.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, just go ahead. Well, there you go. Come on.
Go.
Be like a traffic cop. Or just go like this. Just go on in. Cha-ching, like 10 goals. Is that enough? How about more? Keep going like a roulette machine. Just have the balls ting around into the net. The Kings are not losing tonight. If people are betting this based on that, they're not paying attention. Like you're not paying attention at all. If you think that bet the Kraken because the Kings are going to lose to the Ducks, no way. Generational player. They've tanked the whole year. On the last day of the regular season, the Ducks are going to beat the Kings. No, not happening.
I was 13 years old going to Penguin games the year before they drafted Lemieux. And we saw so much bad hockey. We saw people playing that I remember asking my dad and brothers, like, I think I can skate better than that guy. Like, how is he in his league? And I didn't understand it at the time. They weren't
Right.
trying to win because they got the #1 draft pick and got Mario Lemieux, who
Yep.
changed the entire course of the world.
Mhm.
Dan Mashek was on yesterday, told some great stories about that. If you haven't seen that, go back and watch that. But yeah, this is going to be a fascinating night now, completely in the NHL. Well done. That was
Yes.
broke it down. That was
It's
very good.
It's going to be a lot of fun. And the last game is obviously Pittsburgh and Columbus. So we already got to get into it. But what's the number now? It was 225 this morning.
Already
What's it now?
established this. The
Yes.
Penguins beat Columbus.
They have to. The teams that are
I
going
can't
to
imagine what is going to happen if Columbus wins that game.
Chicago Anaheim, San Jose are all losing tonight, and so are the Blue Jackets. Okay.
The Philadelphia Flyers, by the way, did you see Ralph Michaels' tweet this morning? He tagged me. I answered back.
Okay. No.
They've lost like their last 10 games. They've done this, they've done that. Every trend in the world says the Flyers are terrible. Shit.
They are.
Caca.
Yeah.
They're favored today because they're playing the Blackhawks.
Correct. So here is the bet if you want to make this.
Oh boy.
4-leg
Oh boy.
money line parlay.
Okay.
Penguins,
Yeah.
Flyers, Canucks, Kings.
Penguins,
5-1.
Flyers, Canucks, Kings. Why do we got to involve the Canucks? Oh, because they're playing Arizona?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I don't like that one. That one makes me nervous. Isn't there a better time?
Well, no, sorry. No. I'm skipping. I need Anaheim, not Arizona. Sorry.
Right,
Sorry.
right.
Drop that. I need the Kings. Sorry. Hold on.
Kings.
No, I had the King. No, I have the Kings.
Kings, Edmonton.
Drop Vancouver. Who am I missing here?
Edmonton.
Blue Jackets, Blackhawks.
And San Jose, no?
San Jose. That's what I'm missing. San Jose. Okay.
Yeah. Penguins.
There we go. So that is a plus 330 parlay.
4 games?
4 games. Penguins money line, Flyers money line, Kings money line, Oilers money line. All 4 of those teams are losing today. 100% those 4 teams are all losing today.
Can we not involve the Flyers? Can we put the Dallas Stars in there instead of the Flyers? I mean, that Flyers, Blackhawks game, anything could happen, no?
Well, only because they've been competitive their last 2 games. So that's what gives you the pause, and they're at home, so maybe they play hard. Okay, so avoid them, and we'll put the Dallas Stars in there, and put Dallas in. It drops down to a plus 218 parlay. 2-1.
218 wins, still pays,
but it's a 4-legger.
That's a big chalky. I mean, that's a chalk parlay. But my goodness, that wins, right?
That's minus 245, 255, 520, and 275 chalk. Yes, that wins. Yes.
Wow, Linus just came in and said Craig Anderson's last game tonight. Buffalo ain't losing either. Buffalo's Craig Anderson's last career game. Buffalo at home, small favorite against Ottawa. Total 7.5
at FanDuel. They've gone to 7.5 on that one. So
Blackhawks announcing that it's Taze's last game.
Oh, that's dangerous. Okay, yeah, that's dangerous.
Means they don't want to send him out on a losing
note.
Wow.
That's so good find there. So bounce that out.
Good job, Whitrock.
Penguins, Kings, Oilers, Stars. 4-leg moneyline parlay pays you 2-1. I like that play. If you want to jump in on up that. All right. 2 quick NBA stories to get to, or questions. The Clippers are getting 2.5 games from the Suns, and it's only minus 132.
Yep.
I mean, is there any way
they win 2 games?
Yeah. Can the Clippers win 2 games? Can they lose 4-2?
They can. Why not?
Right?
Yes.
I mean, I think the Suns are going to win the series.
Yes.
But this is not, I get 2.5 games and it's only minus 132.
Yeah, we're going to have to reevaluate that more tonight and readdress that tomorrow. Cause that's, would it surprise you? 4-2? Not at all. To me,
not at all.
A sweep would surprise me more.
Yeah. 4-1, 4-0 is like, really?
4-1 is the pocket. That the Clippers winning a game down in Phoenix, they
Unlikely.
could win both games in LA. They could win 3 and 4 and then lose 5 and 6 at 4-2. There you go. Right? I don't know. That's not bad. Plus 2.5. And then you could get out of that bet. You know, if the Suns win the first 2 games and Kawhi gets hurt and they ain't going to play, and then it's going to be a wrap, then you got to bet out of it the other way.
Or it's 3-0. You know, you can bet game 4. You can go ahead and come in heavy on the Suns to get your money back.
Right.
On it. Yeah, I don't know. Plus 2.5 seems to be.
The Rays have tied up the Red Sox 3-3.
Told you. Bullpen. There you go. Knicks plus a game and a half is only minus 128 against the Cavs.
Oh.
I mean, we really think the Cavs are just going to run over the Knicks here? Knicks could win the series, could they not? If Randall comes back in game 3?
I always side with the dog in these situations. I don't want to give away too big of a price on a favorite. It's just my nature because I had to do it for so long.
Mhm.
I give the dogs a shot more probably than your regular person.
Mhm.
Plus 1.5. So now we have to win. Well, we have to go 4-2 is a loser.
Mhm. Right. Either win the series or go to game 7. That's what you're betting.
Uh, uh, they could win the series, but if he's not healthy, I
Fair, but
don't know. I'd
same
rather take the
question.
plus that they win the series than do this.
Okay. And then the Kings are catching a game and a half, and it's plus money
Yeah. This
against
number,
Golden State.
I just don't see what everybody's seeing. I mean, this is a
They have
runaway.
home court. They have home court. They're playing a bad team who doesn't win on the road, and the
Well,
Kings
hold
can
on. The
catch.
Golden State Warriors are likely going back to the Western Conference Finals, if not the NBA Finals.
Maybe we'll see. I mean, okay, we'll see. They will
But they got to get by
discount.
Sacramento.
They will discount all of our conversations all year long about their ineptitude on the road. If they go to Sacramento and win 2 games and they just run through the Kings and it's like not even a question, they wreck them. Okay.
Well,
Maybe.
I think they split these games. I think Sacramento gets one of these first 2.
And if that
Which
happens,
leaves you
this plus
really in
1.5.
play. Right.
Yeah. It makes plus 1.5 really in play. This is the
That's
bet I may make on this series is to take a game and a half and just go, you know what? The Warriors may win the series. Okay. But go to a game 7 and I'm good. And the Kings win.
Well, I
Or the
mean,
Kings win the series.
yeah, 4-2 beats you though, Perrault.
It does? Yes.
And 4-2 is the most likely. I think 4-1 is what bettors think is most likely.
Yes.
There's people talking like this is going to be a sweep.
Because there's no playoff history. There's no experience. Maybe. Or maybe that building is on fire and they win both games at Sacramento.
Right.
I don't know. I think it's more likely this is a long series. It goes to game 7.
I
Warriors
think
win it.
this
Warriors
this
winning
has,
game 7.
this has potential to do that. Yeah.
Yep.
But I mean, wouldn't you rather take what's the plus money? 1.5. Is it plus enough that you want to take it, or would you rather maybe split the unit? This is like the insurance bet for taking them on the money line if you actually think they can win the series?
I think they are live on the spread. It is plus 122 to take a game and a half.
Those things stay up too at a lot of the places around the country. If you think they're going to win the game 1, you have to bet this. If you think they're going to win game 1 or at least have a shot, you have to bet this because this becomes a gigantic minus with that. And then you could do whatever you want and just
It's
plus
playoff. I mean,
money and
it's
all this other
chucking a unit at it, but it's plus money and and it's something to play off of in this series. Because at some point, if the Kings have a lead in this series, either 1-0 or 2-1, or even 3-1 or 2-0, you're going to get big plus coming back on the Warriors.
Right. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just bet 'em both.
1-0 changes it all. If you could get the first game, again, if you think that they get shot, you make that bet.
Yeah, I like that play a lot. All right, let's get an update on the Red Sox and the Rays here. So we're going for 13-0, which will tie the best
4-3.
record, the fastest start. It's 4-3.
4-3.
Unbelievable. Red Sox
Only
blow
the
it.
5th inning.
Bases loaded, 2 outs though. They're not done.
Maybe not.
Trying to go 13-0, become the 3rd team in Major League Baseball history ever to open up 13.
Oh my! What just happened? 8-3.
Grand Slam.
It's
Grand Slam.
8-3.
I told you.
Right.
I told you. That's what I said. 3-1. Bet the Rays. Red Sox bullpen. I wouldn't trust that bullpen either. Who hit it?
I don't know. I just hit refresh on the score. It's 13.5 in game for the total. Rays minus 5.5. They're still hitting in the bottom of the 5th with 2 out.
Oh, so it wasn't a grand slam. It looks like it was a triple or a double, a bases clearing double. Because I had 5-3. I had 5-3. And then it just blew up.
Man, oh man.
It could be 12-1 on the run line.
People
12-1.
keep asking me for plays every day. I just send them back the race. Rays.
Yep, double.
I get these funny comments. Oh, solid handicapping. How do you want? Winners. We want
Wow.
winners.
How about that? The Red Sox, Bieber comes in. Bleeber, this is funny because it was a joke because Bleeber was really bad because Kluber gave up 4 earned runs in 4
Are you saying his
2/3.
name right? Is it Bleeber?
Bleir. Bleeber.
Yeah.
Bleer.
Bleer.
Because Cobra
Bleer,
Kluber
Bleer, okay.
and Bleer has been awful. And there was a big thought when the Red Sox made some changes. How did this dude stay on the team? Like everybody thought he was getting demoted or DFA'd, and he didn't. And they kept him. And everybody was like, "You kept that guy? How'd you keep that guy?"
He's probably a good teammate.
Well, that good teammate just came in and blew Corey Kluber's start and got eliminated and gave up 5 runs.
It's
So
a hard job.
yeah, it's a hard job, sure. So
Coming
there you
in
go.
relief is hard.
Yeah,
Sometimes that shit don't work.
true, and didn't work for him. So it looks like the Rays are going to do it. 13-0 and 12-1 on the run line, barring a collapse. So here's the question.
Yep.
We talk about the best teams all the time. Rays are the best team right now in baseball.
They
Who's
are.
the worst team in baseball right now?
Is it Oakland?
One of two. It's one of two teams. It's Oakland.
I mean,
Yes, it's Oakland.
I love the A's stuff too. I was always an A's fan when I was. That was my
Detroit's,
first
but
team ever.
Detroit's in the conversation.
Detroit's close.
They're 2-9.
Yeah, they get
Oakland's
mad
th-
though.
Oakland's 3-9,
Detroit,
but
yeah.
Oakland has a minus 49 run differential already.
Yeah, they're getting blown out.
I mean, 42 minus Detroit's minus 42, so Detroit's not much better either. Detroit's lost 6 games in a row.
Yep.
Oakland won yesterday, amazingly enough. They beat the Orioles, but they're 4 games back of the Angels in the West. Detroit's already, I mean, this is crazy, but you start looking at like they're 5.5 games back already. The Red Sox are 7 games back of the Rays. They're about to go 8 games back of the Rays. The Red Sox are in the conversation at the moment for the worst team in baseball.
One of my most fun games I ever attended was in Cleveland.
Mhm.
I went to see the Indians play the Royals before the Indians got good in the early 90s. Drove up by myself. There's 80,000 seat football stadium in Cleveland. They're playing a doubleheader. Kevin Apier pitched the game. I wanted to see George Brett in person.
Mm-hmm.
I went and watched, like Kenny Lofton was coming up, and there were 6,000 people in a ballpark that seat 80,000.
Mm.
And I went by myself, and a guy tried to hustle me for $10 for the ticket. I said, buddy, you should pay me to take the ticket. Like, look at this place. I'll give
Right.
you $5. I gave him $5. I went in, sat. I could hear everything. This is what we should do. We should go to Oakland and watch our teams play. I don't think the Pirates play. I think the Pirates play at home against Oakland. You want to talk about a series where nobody's going to be at? We could go to that. But Oakland is not that far away. We should go see the good teams because I don't think people will go. Are they going to come here?
I don't want them here. I don't want baseball here, but I don't want the A's either. I mean, I don't want baseball here, period, but I don't want the A's here at all. I have no desire for the A's to be.
Like, we already got the Raiders from Oakland. Do we got to take the A's too?
In their history, in their baggage. I don't want any part of it. Expansion, I'd be quasi interested in, but I don't want, especially that team. I don't want the A's moving to Vegas.
They got a lot of work to do to fix.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like they're coming though. It sounds like they were trying to play a game of chicken and they lost with Oakland, with the city. So
they're going to build them a new stadium and they're going to stay?
No, they're going to have to figure out a different way of doing it.
Oh my gosh.
Because where they want to build it and how they want to build it, not there, not possible.
I was talking to Timmy Murray yesterday. He's got a bet on the Nationals versus the A's. Who's going to have the worst record? Who would you want in that situation right now? Nationals versus A's. It was a pick 'em. It's a hard question. Nationals are pretty bad, though.
They are.
And they keep
Yikes.
trucking out Corbin, and we got a lot of.
I'll say
things
the
happening.
A's will be worse because of the division they play in.
It's going to be close, though.
Yeah, I think
Both teams lose 100 games, right?
probably so.
Woo! What
That's
a bet! Worst team in baseball. Bet.
That'll be fun.
Pretty excited that you didn't even mention the Pirates. Thank you for that.
No, I mean, we'll get to it in a second.
Oh.
Yankees are laying 150 against the Twins today.
Yeah.
I'm having a very hard time to getting interested in these baseball games at the moment. Just FYI.
Today's menu?
Yes, it's light.
There's not much.
There's not much, and there's not a game that really jumps off the page.
Well,
This
no,
game-
Milwaukee and San Diego's. That's a playoff.
Who's pitching for Milwaukee? We don't know. It was
Still
TBA.
not even listed.
Yeah, so like,
It's still not even listed.
that's why I didn't put it on there, because I was like, well, it changes everything who starts, so I'm
And
not going to put it on the rundown.
The battle of the Midwest team, that is actually in the Midwest, Minnesota. It's not the Pirates. The Pirates are playing St. Louis. That's like East Coast versus Midwest.
Yeah.
So that's a game we'll get to in a second. But Minnesota's a good baseball team. Their
Are they?
uniforms are shit, though. I don't know what they
Are
did.
they?
I
Are they?
don't like what they did. Yeah, Minnesota's actually so far. Talk about like surprise teams or teams that might be a little better than anticipated before the season. Minnesota's one of them.
Okay.
Yankees are a little bit heavy priced today. I think Minnesota's live in that game. I do. But the Twins
Barrios.
never beat the Yankees.
Are the books wow, the Mountain West just announced they're holding their football media days at Circa on July 19th and 20th.
That's good. Probably
Oh.
charged them for that, right?
My goodness gracious.
Yeah. They
They're
ain't got the money.
holding their football media days
Uh-huh.
at a sportsbook casino resort in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
We have lost our fucking minds.
It's all done.
We have
there's
lost-
no lines anymore.
We have lost our minds.
There's no lines.
Wow.
There's no lines. Nothing makes sense. None of it.
If you had said to me 5 years ago that a major football conference is going to host their media days at a casino resort in Vegas, I would have gone, get out of here. There's no way that any administrator is going to say, like, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's go to a sports book / casino. Props to Circa, but I cannot believe that that's what we're doing now. July 19th and 20th here in Vegas. If you're a Mountain West fan, you guys can come on in.
It's awesome.
That is something
right?
else.
Yeah, they don't care. They don't care.
Wow. What's
There's no
next?
lines.
Who's the first college athlete that gets an NIL deal with a sports book?
Well, no, they're limiting that. They already tried that. Like we got that story on the rundown at
Yeah.
the bottom.
Yep, we do.
They can't do that. But they paid that kid to go to that school. He was going to go to Florida State. He went to the school, right? There where
Yeah.
Dion was.
Yeah.
But now
Jackson
Dion
State.
ain't there.
Right. Now he's in Colorado. Well, the kid went to Colorado with Dion.
Right. Yeah.
He went with Dion to Colorado.
Amazing.
And then finally, your Pirates are playing the Cardinals. Your Pirates are 7-5. Cardinals are 5-7. Not too often you guys have a better record than St. Louis going
Yeah,
into a
not-
game.
Velasquez, not the best.
Nope.
No, this would be one of those rare situations I'd be looking to lay the run line with the home team favorite.
Whoa.
Not
Take it.
don't like this matchup. Velasquez going to give up a home run tonight. Pick a Cardinal or two to hit a homer. I
Whoa.
think. Yeah.
Arenado.
Yeah, it could be him or it could be that kid
Gold-
that plays right
Goldschmidt?
field. I can't remember. No, there's a new kid up. Absolute beast. He's been hitting bombs.
Mm.
I think there's 4 or 5 guys tonight you could look at to hit a home run for St. Louis. I got to do the baseball work after the show, and then after our call, we got a call after the show, so I can do that a little bit.
I just can't believe that the Mountain West is going there. I don't know.
Someone asked in the chat why it's a big deal. It's a big deal to us because we're old. I mean, I'm 52. You're 45, 46.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
no. Here, let me explain this. In Nevada, you must be 21 years of age to do just about anything.
Right.
You're going to bring football media days is the idea of bringing in a college athlete in order to meet with the media, to have a conversation with a large swath of media in one place. We are then going to bring that 18-year-old, 19-year-old, 20-year-old onto a floor, onto a place where you have legal gambling.
They can't come in. You
They
got
can't-
to you got to show your
That's
ID
right.
to get
they
into
do-
circus.
No,
Circus
no,
is
wait,
21 and over
I
place.
forgot. That's even better.
Circus is 21 and over only. You can't get in the door.
Circus 21 and over.
You can't get in the door.
Oh my, I forgot that you have to
Yeah.
be 21 to get in the circa.
So they're gonna have it in the
So-
conference rooms upstairs, and you can't
Oh.
let any college athletes in unless you keep
You
them
have to.
outside.
What do you mean you leave them outside? You have to bring them in. You have to bring them in. Waive the rule.
They
Get away.
can't get in the door. You're violating your license and everything else. You're a 21 and over only place. If I was in there on fire, my kids could not come in and save me. You can't get in the door. You
Oh,
have to physically show your ID when you get there.
so
if
they're
you go
bringing
to
no
the
student
front
athletes.
desk-
So they're bringing no student athletes.
No,
This isn't
No.
why are you doing media days? Talk to the coach. That's it.
that's all that most of the media days are.
No, I've been going there for years. No. You go.
On the
You want
SEC, they bring the players.
no ACC, Big 10, Big 12. They all bring the players. That's part of the whole thing. Is you have access to players
I
in a
don't
different.
think that one Penn State football player's ever been to a Big Ten media day.
That's wrong.
Jopa
I was,
never
I
brought 'em.
was there
Never
when,
once.
when Penn State was there in Chicago.
Who went?
That's not right. I don't remember, but I know there were Penn State players there. Penn State football players and Penn State basketball players. Yes, 100%
I don't
in
know.
Chicago. 100%. I went to multiple Big Ten media days with Penn State people there, Penn State players there. Now, Joe Paterno maybe never did that, but in the modern era, James Franklin sure as hell brings players with him when he goes to media days. So not a single Mountain West coach is going to bring a player to highlight on media
Unless you have a
days.
21-year-old player, unless you have a senior that's 21, he can come. So
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
That is something else.
Welcome.
Wow, the
Yeah.
world is totally different. Sports Grid, thank you so much. You guys will see us tomorrow for Roll Call Friday for you guys who are on live on Twitter and live on our YouTube channel at Boston versus the Book. Time for BVB bonus time. All right.
Camp just came in the chat and said that I'm wrong, that they bring
Yeah.
media people, that
Yeah.
bring players. Listen, when I was in college, they didn't go.
Yeah, no, but I mean,
So,
I covered Big 10,
know.
Big 12, ACC, SEC. It's a huge, I mean, bringing players because radio stations, we would go and do live broadcasts and then get access to the players, put them on the show and talk to them
Right.
live.
Right.
That's why we all went. That's why we went. I mean, the best media days are in the SEC because of the way they do it and just the overall fan reaction. The fans wait outside. There's hundreds of fans who are all over the place at the mall in Birmingham. And there's a chute that they use for all the radio stations. So you have like this long walkway. So the coaches and players come and they just do every radio station and then they go out. It's phenomenal. Big 10's a little bit different because it's moved around a lot. Same thing with the Big 12. It's a lot in Kansas City a lot of times for the Big 12.
So is it like a glorified like Super Bowl trip?
Yes,
like
100%.
that? Like
100%. It is the college market equivalent of going to the Super Bowl. Yes, that's what it's like. So it's 3 days.
That's my only
Yes.
media thing that we've done together.
Yeah. It's
So
it's
that's
not
what
the
I'm
level
basing
of
it off
like
of.
you don't see the level of personality unless like, Nick Saban does very few radio shows. He does a couple,
Right.
but not many. The
Right.
coaches that are new to the conference, they'll do fucking everybody. Like they'll go into
Right.
every radio
Right.
station. They want to
Right.
get their name out,
Right.
get the
Okay.
recruiting conversation going. They'll
Okay.
talk to
Okay.
anybody who will have them. But yes, it's the college football market. Like Iowa City, their station's not going to send Brommel Camp to the Super Bowl, but they will send him to the Big 10 media days. He will go to
Gotcha.
that to cover
Okay.
that
Okay.
because the news stories and everything else that comes out of it, all the projections, it's when the schedule gets talked about and all the things that get into it. And, and kids say dumb things sometimes. I mean, kids will say things that will be newsworthy that you're like, oh boy, okay, what did he say? So yeah, I cannot believe the Mountain West Conference is going to Circa. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Wow. What a different world.
Well, I mean, where else would you go?
What do you mean?
If you're the Mountain West and you're going to do it in Vegas, where else would you go? I think Circa's a good place to do it.
Any casino I'm talking about, not just Circa, any casino. Any casino. You don't have to come to Vegas. You can go to anywhere else. You can go to San Diego. Go to the beach.
The lines are drawn. There's no more lines. They
Right.
don't
That's
care
what I
about
mean.
anything
It's
anymore.
insane.
gone.
The fact that you're coming to
gone.
Vegas for the it's just okay. It's so wild. It's great. It's great. I mean, they're gonna have that place to be booked. every coach, every, if they bring spirit squad people, if they bring administrators, all the media, all coming in, it's a paid vacation. You kidding me? The happiest
That's what
person
all
on the
these media
planet.
days are. I'm learning so much
Yeah,
about the
the
media and the
happiest,
space
the
stuff, yeah.
happiest person on the planet today to hear this is the beat writer covering the football team in Provo, Utah. Like this is like
Overjoyed.
this is like I get to go where for 4 days and you're paying for it. I get to go to Stadium Swim and hang out and get all the events that the Mountain West Conference are going to pay for, the drinks up at Legacy Club, the party out at the pool, all paid for. Beat writers
Can we go to that?
Of course. Yeah. Yeah.
Put
we
us
can go to
in
that.
for the media days. That'd be great.
We can 100% go. We can do a live show from there. 100%. They'll have a radio row just like everybody else will.
Yeah.
We'll have
put
all
us in for that.
Yeah, we'll have the Mountain West Conference, all over the place come on in and be a part of it. So
that's awesome. We'll do that.
San Jose State people will come on in, and San Diego State people will
Talk
come
to 'em all.
on in.
That'd be
Yep.
great.
So there
I
you
just
go.
want to make all the connections we can so we can go to their games later. That's awesome.
It's a sports betting show doing a live broadcast from a football media day.
Right.
Well, the world is such a fun place right now. It is such on its head. It's awesome. Speaking about being on its head.
Yep.
So a lot of our older gentlemen friends who watch the women's basketball NCAA tournament fell in love with the Cavinder twins. Do you know who the Cavinder twins are?
I only do now.
So these are two sisters who played basketball at the University of Miami. They helped Miami make a run to the Elite Eight in the NCAA tournament. They yesterday announced that they were leaving Miami. They were not going to play anymore. They have a senior year left. They walked away. We didn't learn till this morning as to where they were going. They're going straight from basketball to the WWE.
Did you actually listen to the soundbite though?
Yes.
I don't think they're going to wrestle.
They're going to wrestling. They signed an NIL deal already with the WWE.
I know, but I don't know what that means. They both
I'll send you the story. I got this out of. There's a whole story written on this.
I listened to the soundbite, and that guy asked, and the one sister was like, "Well, we have a lot of marketing deals, and
well, that's just because it hasn't been announced by the WWE yet."
I don't know. It's weird, but yeah, I saw it, and I was like, "Oh, here we go." I mean,
so the question would be then next, if it's not there, where are they going? Because they just left school. And the NIL money.
They're good at basketball. I don't know anything about it.
Well, they can make more money playing basketball than going and having a desk job. They were making a ton of money last year, NIL wise, tons of it. The offer they've got is so big for them to walk away from Miami and not go back after the Elite Eight run to make a ton of money back, because now everybody knows who they are because of the tournament run. Now all the eyeballs are on them. They'll make so much money at NIL, and they're like, nope, we're good, thanks, because of the other deals that they've got are bigger. They got something big cooking right now.
I can't wait to get our NIL deal. I can't wait. It's going to be fucking great.
Name, image, and likeness. So we'll see what happens, but those two could very well walk off the basketball court and walk straight into WWE, which would be amazing if that happens. The second story with women's sports is the fact that the handle for women's basketball during the NCAA tournament grew significantly. Now, have you heard of Boardroom before?
Boardroom.
So according to Boardroom, the LSU Iowa game was the most viewed college women's basketball game ever, up 103% from the championship game last year. It peaked at 12.2 million viewers concurrently.
Wow. I love how they get these numbers. Now that I'm asking people for numbers and concurrent numbers and all this other bullshit, I love this. 12.2 million concurrent. So the game was on ABC, was it not?
Yes.
It was on ABC on a Sunday. Yes. I think it was.
Midday, yep.
Yep. So they called 5,000 people and asked them, what channel you got on? I got on ABC. Cool. And then they multiplied it by all these people, and they came to the 12.2 million concurrent people watching the basketball game. That's awesome. Great news. I mean, Iowa, everywhere. I mean, they just Clark, all about the basketball. It's fantastic.
According to BetMGM Pennsylvania, they released data that showed a significant spike in the betting.
Well, there definitely was a significant spike in the betting. People
Does it
were
stay?
talking about it all over.
Does it stay?
No.
I disagree with you. I think it does.
You're nuts.
I think it does. I disagree. I think I think if I was going to talk to a 15, 16, 17-year-old right now about going to college and what they should go to college for, I think going to college as a broadcasting major with a specialization on being a target for women athletics and being a sports betting expert, like someone who could talk both the lines and content, jobs are going to be coming like crazy for them if you can do it. It's coming.
Been talking about this with my daughters for softball.
Yes, and they should do it because it's going to, I see it. I could see it just in my class. I see where the people, if you can talk and you know the sport and you know the betting side of it, there's going to be jobs.
Right now. There's a lot of people talking about the betting in the sport without knowing the betting right now. That's all over the place.
But this is all with sports. We've already seen people talk gambling before. We haven't heard women's basketball gambling talk. We haven't seen women's softball talk. We haven't seen women's hockey. I mean, these are all sports that are growing extremely fast across the country.
Yeah, but if there's no betting on it, then talking the betting on it.
Well, there will be though. That's what I mean. There's going to be interest. Women are going to, and men too, are
Women
going to bet. Yeah, they're going to bet. Once they get a taste of it and figure it out, yes. There's been studies done like crazy. The reason why women don't bet more often than not is they're intimidated to ask a question. They don't want to walk up and say, I don't know what those numbers mean. And guys don't either. It's both. Men and women both don't. But once you explain it to them and show them what it is, there's a real thirst for it. There's a real interest.
Yeah.
Remember, there's more women. There's more women than men
in the world,
in America, in the world.
In my house, for sure.
There's more women than men. So,
yeah, but you know what they are? They're smart.
What's that mean?
I think they're
what?
Women.
People who gamble are dumb. What?
I didn't say that out loud, but they take less risks.
Well, they might. Yeah, I mean, men are way more attracted to risk than women are. But gambling is gambling. Women like to gamble.
Women like to gamble on stuff other than sports.
That's my point. I disagree with that opinion. I think that's an old school thought process. I think it's changing. I think more and more women are getting interested in betting on women athletics and women's sports. The same way they bet on a soccer game for men, they want to bet on a soccer game for women. Same way they want to bet on a men's basketball game, they want to bet on a women's basketball game. You always say this. Game's a game, right? Doesn't matter who's playing.
I love women's sports.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's softball's awesome. A good competitive women's basketball game. A lot of times it's more fun to watch than a men's game. Just more whatever. I don't know how to describe it. It's just different, but it's good. We'll see. I don't know. It's going to take a while. All these stories about there's more women bettors. You know why there's more women bettors? Because they get less scrutiny.
Right. They're betting for somebody else. But
oh, you said that shit. Don't say that quiet part out loud. I don't know who's betting for who here. Yeah.
Obviously, right.
Hold on.
Mrs. all of a sudden is 3 accounts at 3 sports books.
Whoa.
Mrs. all of a sudden is dying. So I'm saying real betting. I'm not saying beard betting. I'm saying real interest, real wagering. People walking in the counter with their face, walking up and making bets.
We used to do it all the time. It was always the most fun for me, talking to them and trying to get them, like they would sit there and stare at the counter and like look at the lights and like,
right. They're intimidated.
I don't know how to do this.
They were intimidated, right?
But like there's more women working in sports books in person than there are men.
Because more, that's just stats wise, it makes sense. It's more women than men. It's a fact of the matter. More women than men. So it's a very interesting thing to look at going forward. I think there's going to be a market. Who gets who markets to it. Is there a handle? We'll find out. Someone's going to go first. Someone will market directly from a bookmaking perspective.
Right.
And we'll see if it makes any money. If it does, people will follow. If it doesn't, then people will stop doing it. Speaking of marketing, one more quick story for Better to Book It. You've talked about England a lot, about what's happening over there.
We need to address this tomorrow in the beginning part of the show.
Oh, okay.
I mean, but we can touch on it and tease it for tomorrow.
Okay. The
It's
Premier
Roll Call
League
Friday.
is
This is
pulling
a
all
big deal.
gambling sponsorships off their shirts.
Yeah. Agree or
that
disagree with the move?
I'm indifferent. I don't think having a logo on a jersey makes me more or less inclined to go gamble or bet or buy a milkshake or buy a
Because
hamburger.
you're in the space and you
No,
live in
anything.
Las Vegas.
Gambling.
We're immune.
No,
to
McDonald's.
everything.
If the the Boston Celtics have a deal, what do they have? They had a local Boston company, like Boston Electronics or something, on their jersey.
Uh-huh.
Like, it means nothing to me. So it
but
doesn't
means
matter to
something
me.
to your mom.
It doesn't mean anything to me. I
No.
mean, it does.
Or it
Jersey
means something to
ads
your
I'm
little
immune to
sister
it.
who goes, "Hey, I watched the Celtics game, Matt. I saw DraftKings is on there. Should I bet with them if I want to make a bet? I
Maybe
hear you keep talking about women's sports. I was going to bet on this game." Like,
it's possible. I'm not
if
saying
it's
that
on
branding works. I'm not debating that advertising works. Branding
you
works.
and I know that branding works. These
I
dumbass
just-
sports books don't know that.
I don't know if having my ad or having a company sponsoring on a jersey changes much. I don't know what that does. So like the sports book's getting told or the casino's getting told, hey, you can't advertise anymore on jerseys. To me, I would feel one angle. I will say this. I do like it only because kids tend to wear jerseys a lot more than adults. And so you're teaching a kid early already about the gambling companies. So they have name recognition. So when they are presented with a chance to bet at a place, they already have that brand awareness of who it is. So it's the fun word, the grooming word, that I can understand.
Yeah, we'll address this more tomorrow when we have some more time. But I think it's a precursor of things to come. The lines got too blurred too fast. It's too much in your face, and somebody's got to be held accountable for all the responsible gaming stuff. That's the part of it, you have to address. So what's the easy thing to do? Tell the books you can't be on the team's uniforms. What's next? Well, wait, we put in books in every fucking stadium. Hold on. Now they can't be open on game day. Oh, they're going to pull back. We're seeing it now. We'll discuss it more tomorrow.
Okay. Better to book it time.
Yep. Let's do it.
First bet, Devils puck line at plus 134 against Washington. It's all hockey today.
Bet it.
They run through the Caps tonight. Under 6.5, Carolina, Florida, minus 125.
Why do you like this under?
Alex Lyon.
I mean, the game's meaningful for both teams, right? We've said that. 6.5 you got under? Oh, you're frozen. Look at that face. Holy shit. Did you see his face? He's going to be mad. Oh, God. He got zapped. I thought the zap was fair at 11:30 every day.
There we go.
He got zapped at 12:30 almost.
Yeah.
Oh, he's back. Hey, all right, good.
I'm back. I got kicked out. I got chucked out.
Why do you like this game under again? You have under 6.5 with what juice?
Minus 125.
Okay, that's what it is right now.
Alex Lyon.
The game's meaningful for both teams.
Yes, it is.
All right.
Means more to Carolina than it does Florida, which means Carolina dictates tempo.
Oh, man. I think this is a bet.
Mm-hmm. This game, I think this game goes the same way the last game when we argued over this, and it was a 1-1 into an overtime. It was a 2-1 final.
Yeah.
I think this is a 2-1 final.
Yeah.
This is a tight hockey game.
Okay.
For both teams. They play slow, close to the vest.
Yep.
Stars puck line at plus 110 against St. Louis.
Bet. You saw it last night. Now we get it at home.
Yes.
I mean, come on.
Even better.
Come on.
And then finally, I like a Vegas Edmonton money line parlay. I think they're both winning tonight at plus
Vegas,
120.
Edmonton money line parlay.
That's
I'm
what I got
worried
last night.
about this. I'm worried about
There's
this.
better numbers now because of the Vegas
Right.
number.
Right.
Vegas was minus 120 last night. Now they're a pick.
Well, a couple places have Vegas minus 110, minus 115. They went back. I don't know what that was.
Move
I
on
don't know
St.
what
Louis
that
to get a better head fake to get a better price on Vegas.
Might have been. All right, we'll bet this because I want to see the Knights do it. But I'm nervous about the Knights one. The Edmonton's winning the game.
Yes,
that's a done deal.
Yeah, it's just a way of jumping in.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun because you literally can start watching West Coast time at 4:00 and be watching hockey, meaningful hockey, all the way till midnight, basically.
Sounds like a plan.
Or at least 11:00, somewhere at 8:00. Yeah, I'm at midnight.
That's what we're doing tonight.
7:30. That game probably ends at 10:30. So from 4 p.m. Pacific time to 10:30 p.m. West Coast time, you can watch meaningful hockey games all night long.
Sounds like what the best thing about today might be.
What is the best thing about today? Let's go to it.
That's pretty damn good.
I would agree.
That's pretty damn good. A full slate of hockey on the last.
Considering the baseball's, kind of a dud.
A lot of day games, and it's a lot of blah.
Dud, and then in basketball is off.
Well, no, that's what I was going to say. The best thing about today is that there's no basketball.
Why?
That's the best thing about today.
Why?
Because we don't need no basketball today. Like, listen, everybody needs a break. We need a break from the NBA and all this bullshit because God knows what's coming. We're going to focus on the NBA and the playoffs and get the coverage and play a game and sit for 3 days and then play a game and then sit for 3 days and all that bullshit. When the hardest trophy in sports is coming. What? What happened? What happened?
Jay Park on our Discord channel just said, well, actually, Matt, the Pens have a reason to lose to the Blue Jackets. If the Blue Jackets get Bedard, the Pens play him for the next 15 years.
They don't care about that.
Can you imagine? They're like, fuck that kid. We don't want to play that guy. Go ahead. You guys can win. Columbus, you guys can win. We don't want any part of it. I love that. Oh, that's so good.
Oh, God.
That would be phenomenal if they did that.
Oh, man. Yeah, listen, this is going to be a fun night for everybody. The hardest trophy in sports to win. The playoffs start tonight for a lot of teams. We'll see a lot of fun storylines. I can't wait. And we don't have basketball. Did you see that GIF? You did see it that I tweeted last night with that kid with the Oklahoma City.
Oh, that kid was looking like a boss.
Right, with the glasses
Looked
on.
like could be your kid.
Right? Like that's
Could
what
be your
somebody
son.
even said.
Yeah.
Like that's a little consig in training.
Yep.
I got to find that. Yeah, I'm gonna retweet that. That was actually
Make that into a picture, into a t-shirt.
Right. OKC tomorrow. But today, best thing about today, no basketball.
My favorite thing about today is the fact that the New York City region is so excited because the first time, I think in the last 25 years, it's the first time that every New York team is playing. Every MSG team that plays at MSG, they're all in the playoffs.
Wow.
They're all for the first time ever. And every single one of them are going to fucking lose. It's phenomenal. They all are going to lose. They're all so excited. They all are so giddy and they're so happy. They're so with joy, with excitement. And I'm like, yeah, the Knicks are going to lose. The Irons are going to lose. Devils are going to lose. Rangers are going to lose. You're all going to lose. Nets are going to lose. We're all going to lose. Every single one of them. Not one of them.
They're not an MSG, but the Nets are
in the region.
The Nets,
they're the entire region.
Rangers, Islanders,
yes, are all in the playoffs.
Devils.
Yep.
Knicks and Nets.
Yep. Every New York team eligible for the playoffs right now are in the playoffs.
God.
And they're all going to lose.
It's going to be so insufferable with this New York media.
They're all going to lose, though. It's beautiful. It's awesome.
Oh.
Every New York fan's going to be crying. Whether you're a Knicks fan or a Net fan, you're going to be crying. Whether you're an Islander fan, whether you're a Ranger fan or a Devil fan, you're all going to be crying. It's phenomenal. They're all going to be disappointed. It is a thing of beauty. that I know in at least might take 5 weeks, but at least in a month or so, every one of those fan bases will be crying.
Right.
That's my favorite thing about today is that knowledge that's going to happen. Roll call Friday tomorrow, boys and girls. We'll talk to you tomorrow for Matt Farra, Matt Perrault, Dave Sharapan. We'll talk to you tomorrow for BVB. Hit